shine by my side. And the nights that I'm not sleeping, I only wanna feel your weight next to me. And the beats my heart is skipping, maybe 'cause I'm missing when you awaken me. I wanna write you love songs, I know that I've got loves to go. I should know I'll be so good to you. I know I've got a lot to lose. I realize that you are the sunlight in my life. I think that I need you to shine by my side. And the nights that I'm not sleeping, I only wanna feel your weight next to me.
Let's go. Can you believe we are this deep into the 2026 Americas Summit and this show still doesn't have a name?
Still doesn't have a name, Evan. It's 100% correct.
But we have names. My name's Evan. This is Jesse. That concludes the list of people at the desk. Last week was not America's Summit. It was the Legend Tournament. Oh, we don't have to include that. So, editor, cut that out.
Computer.
Computer.
Edit that out.
Jarvis, cut that last line out. All right, Jesse, you want to recap the leaderboard for us?
Absolutely, Evan. That's right, Evan. Skit Sons we have right now in last place, unfortunately, with 3 points total. We have Parceros following up with 5. Good Luck Have Fun, 5 as well. Then we have Banana Boys in at 7. A very funny team. I don't know if you caught any of the streams, Evan. The camera work that they have going on in the backgrounds it's something.
They're hilarious. I have caught a few of the streams. I've been in them.
I've seen Stranger Things.
I've seen Stranger Things.
And then we have Chaos, tied for first place with Skills over Bills at a nice little 8.
Just like last time, we'll be introducing modifiers that are going to keep each set visually interesting for people watching at home.
That's right, Evan. We're going to be seeing a new rendition to the Angelmon once more. So stay tuned to see what changes come for this week. And Evan, we also have to include that the Blue Angelmon will be sticking around as a permanent feature to America Summit 2026.
I like the Blue Angelmon. It added a little oomph to the pick band phase, kept things changing up.
Oh, absolutely. It is going to be Evan's birthday coming up, so we're going to be having to do America Summit without him, unfortunately. But we still have Topa and Shambi, so we hope you have a good time, Evan, on your birthday. Enjoy it.
Thanks so much.
We'll welcome you back with open arms as your one. And so with that being said, Evan, if you can go ahead and tell us our matches for this week.
Yes, sir. We got Chaos versus Good Luck Have Fun, Banana Boys versus Skit Sons, and then we're closing it out with Skills over Bills versus Parceros.
And so, Evan, here's your cake.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh, dude,
I'm so sorry.
All over my Angelmon. All these Angelmon.
I gotta save the editor, Evan.
Oh my
It's
God.
been great talking to you, but until next week, we'll see you guys.
I'll be so good to I say. And the nights that I'm not sleeping, I only wanna feel you laying next to me. And the beats my heart is skipping, maybe 'cause I'm missing when you awaken me. And the nights that I'm not sleeping, I only wanna feel you laying next to me. And the beats my heart is skipping, maybe 'cause I'm missing when you awaken me.
Hello everyone and welcome back to America Summit 2026 for week 3, and as you can see, I am here alone. Evan has his birthday yesterday and Sean B is getting his much needed beauty sleep. I think he will be joining us later, but let's take a moment to wish happy birthday to Evan, as his birthday was just yesterday. And it is great to be here nonetheless, even though I am alone for now. Good to be here back for week 3 as we have some more exciting challenge RTA tournament style today, and we have a couple new additions this week. In addition to the blue Angemon from last week, we have a red Angemon this week as well, but more on that later. As you guys know, or may not know if you haven't been here past weeks, this is week 3. As I mentioned, we are in challenge mode RTA format. You saw the 6 teams, each consisting of 4 players there. We have a round robin format for the first 5 weeks here, which is taking place at 5 p.m. every day. That is, right now. And the finals week will be on April 24th. So mark your calendars for that. We have a few more weeks, 2 more weeks after today's week before those finals. So teams are fighting for this prize pool of over $10,000 in prizes. First place taking away a large chunk of that, $1,250 per player. So definitely nice incentives there for these players, as the top 4 do make the money and obviously qualify for those finals. So currently the teams are just fighting for points to get their hands on make the finals and get their hands on that money. We can see second place taking out 3,500, third place 2,500, and fourth place a little about 800. So nice to get, paid there after these. And as mentioned, there are 3 different monsters in each team's toolbox. The first one is the Devilmon here. It allows the teams to swap one competitor matchup for another. We haven't seen a single Devilmon being used thus far, and I'm not sure how impactful it really is in challenge mode when everyone is on such equal footing, but nonetheless, that is available to all these teams. The Devilmon is back, and so is the Blue Angemon. We have the pre-ban, the honor system pre-ban. As we saw last week, if you do violate that, you do forfeit the match. So really want to be paying attention to those pre-bans that the Blue Angemon will be providing. And those are for both teams. So maybe teams don't want to be using that Blue Angemon every time, as it does apply to your team. But what teams will definitely want to be using here in every match is the Red Angemon, as this forces only your opponent's side to pick a monster if that monster is in their box for every single match. So we might be seeing a lot of Fire Golem here today, as that is probably the worst monster in challenge mode. But speaking of today's matches here they are. We have match 1 between Team Chaos and Team GLHF, that is Zaysa's team versus Truewell's team. Match 2, Team Apps versus Team Daniel Carioca and Banana Boys and Skit Sons. And to round it off, we have Little Jenny's team versus Mendieras and Skills Over Bills versus Parceros. So we have some exciting matchups here today. And as mentioned, these teams are really fighting for those points. We are doing a best of 1 format. All matches will be just that one match. So each match is super important in getting that 1 point on the board. And if you saw in that intro, we did have a little bit look at those leaderboards earlier. And there are a couple teams that are already sitting at 8 points. But there's also a team, I believe, Skit Sons, that only has 3 points. So really needs to make a dent, get some points here today if they do want to qualify for those playoffs. And here we have, once again, the leaderboard showing up. Yeah, we have 2 teams, Skills Over Bills and Chaos. Lil Jenny's and Zaysa's team at 8 points total. And at the bottom of the leaderboard, we have Parceros at 5 points and Skit Sons with 3 points. GLHF, also notably, is only at 5 points. So that 4th place is very, it is tied 4th place right now. We'll have a tiebreaker for that if needed, but obviously we still have a few more weeks to go. But Skit Sons, they really need to get some points on the board. Even if they get a full perfect 4 points today, they still are not even in reach of 1st place. So they really need to show up here today. That is Team Daniel Carioca, obviously. And we'll take a moment to say hi to some of you guys in chat as well. Zetabai, what's going on? Apps, I see you there as well. Thank you guys for joining us here today. And yeah, as I'm flying here solo, maybe looking at chat a little bit to get some greetings going on. And what do you guys think about this format and everything? So it's going to be pretty exciting. We still have the challenge mode, obviously. I don't believe the monster pool has changed this time around, as it is changing on a 2-month basis, but there's a new month. So if you guys haven't done your challenge mode battles for this month, the rewards have reset. So maybe time to get some challenge mode in for those re-apps and Devilmon and others that they are. But let's take a look at Team Chaos here. We see their lovely faces here in Team Chaos, and sounds like actually the Lord of the Ring units are gone from that. And looks like we're actually getting the draft here right now. Let's see. Each season will be in that match 1. We'll see what Team GLHF responds as. Here they are.
It'd be Vinny, and then myself.
Alright, so Truewell, the team captain, putting up Vinny in that first match and himself in the second match. And hello, Mad Expert, how's it going? I see you there in chat. And that is actually interesting. If the Lord of the Rings units are gone, that means there's no Golem in play, which is probably, was the worst monster and probably what people would be using that Red Angelmon on. So I believe we might have a slight change in strategy there, as the collaboration has now ended. But either way, when getting this match here, Truewell is in that second match, and we'll see how Team Chaos
was 16
against Truewell.
Not even to say that, but I was afraid she would have him waiting for it.
Agora vai ser o Lordo. Lordo? Lordo and stay high.
Okay, sounds like Team Chaos Zesa is putting up Lordo in that second matchup against Truewell and Stay Hive in that blind matchup in match 3, which also means that Zesas will be rounding off at their draft in that match 4 for them. So we'll see how exactly does Team GLHF want to play this out, as they now know who all the matchups are going to be. Stay Hive once again is, or was, the only player in the top 100. Obviously that leaderboard has now reset as well, I do believe, with the new month taking place. And we'll see if any of these players have really put the time into test this new mode out, as there's no more Water Gandalf.
Give me a minute.
Let's listen in here as Truebell is deciding on these matchups here. There's still obviously Jeff Boladao and Dark Archomp that are his 2 players remaining. We'll see how he wants to match those up against Team Chaos, who is currently one of our point leaders, and GLHF was in that tied 4th place, so they really do need these points.
All right, we'll go with Jeff and then Garchomp.
So Jeff Boladao will be going in that 3rd match against Stay Hive, and Dark Archomp will be in that match 4 facing off against the other team captain.
No, it's one a week.
As we see it right there, populating all the matches for this first round here between Team Chaos and GLHF. I believe we'll have it. The captains will now have a moment to decide on how, if at all, to utilize those Angel Mons and Devil Mons here today. So we'll get a word just in second how they do decide to utilize those. Once again, I do really expect them to utilize that Red Angemon. There's no reason not to use the Red Angemon here at all, as the Red Angemon only applies to your opponent. So you really want to be finding that worst possible monster that in the challenge mode, that if the opponent does land with that monster in their box, they are forced to draft that monster. I don't think they have to draft it first, so they could be setting it for last. Maybe, they don't have that monster, trying to play a little bit of mind games against their opponent, or maybe they just want to draft that monster in the very first slot, get that out of the way, just kind of not letting you know, yeah, you got me, I have that monster, and now I'm forced to draft it. But that Blue Angemon might not be used, as it is a pre-ban, and it would be interesting which takes precedence here. I believe the pre-ban will take precedence. I don't think they'll probably coincide. You probably want to be pre-banning the best monster and Red Angemoning the worst monster. But if there is a case where a team pre-bans a monster that the other team Red Angemons, I don't believe they are allowed to pick that. Even though they're forced to pick it, I don't think they're still allowed to pick that monster. But either way, we're probably not going to get that scenario anyways. And if we are, the referees will surely clarify that up for us. And still behind the scenes, we're working out, obviously we got so many Angemons now. I don't know what these teams are going to be doing, but it's going to be very interesting to see how this is going to shake up the challenge mode meta. And also, since the Lord of the Rings units are now gone from the pool, that's going to be Water Gandalf gone, obviously the biggest nuisance of challenge mode. So that's definitely going to be shaking up the meta and the drafting a little bit. You don't have that Angel Gandalf combination anymore. You don't have Light Legolas there, which obviously LD monster don't see that much. You don't have the Fire Golem. That was probably everyone's get eager to get to Red Angemon, that Fire Golem right there. So with the Fire Golem gone, I'm interested to see exactly what these teams are going to be Red Angemoning, because there's not really, at least to me, I can't think off the top of my head, there's not any other monster that's like in a really bad place in challenge mode. Okay, I'm just getting word now that we do have a blue and a red Angemon for Team Chaos here, but not confirmed on who those are being used on just yet. Okay, so Team Chaos has pre-ban Diana. I believe this was their pre-ban last week as well. So they have Blue Angemon Diana, and they are forced GLH to pick Triton, which, that is actually a really good force pick. I think Triton, yeah, some of those like Triton, Chivu, those AoE buff removers can definitely be quite unimpactful. So if GLHF has a Triton available in their monster box, they are forced to pick that Triton, which might definitely shake up some things. And maybe, you know, we'll see some more aggressive drafting style from them. Obviously, they're forced to pick that Triton, but maybe they can complement that with, you know, the Chibu, some AoE damage dealers, maybe, you know, the Drakon Warriors, other AoE monsters, the Dark Monkey, if they're lucky enough to have that available. But it's definitely going to be making for a interesting show here today. So I'm still waiting to hear back from Team GLHF, as I'm sure they'll definitely want to be using that Red Angemon as well. Maybe they'll use it on Triton as well. Maybe they'll find a different monster. And okay, so GLHF has used both Angemon as well here. They have banned Kinky, which is an interesting ban, and they are forcing Team Chaos to pick a Molly. So we might be in for interesting longer matches here. And they have also used up a Devilmon to change two of the players here. So Team GLHF is really using all of their tools here to try and make those points. So we see the updated matchups here, I believe, in a second. And there it is. The Devilmon has been used between True Will and Dark Garchomp. So that match 2 will now be Lordo against Dark Garchomp, and match 4 is going to be that classic team captain face-off to round off this first match here between Zazas and True Will. So excited to see that. And once again, we have a ban on Kinky and Diana. Team GLHF, so True Will's team, has to pick a Triton if available, and Team Chaos has to pick a Molly if available. So there's definitely going to be a lot to remember, and I hope these teams are, I mean, there's 4 players in each team. If me, one person, can remember all of this, I'm sure the 4 players, as well as, you know, the referees and everything in the back end, are going to be figuring that out as we're getting in this first match here between Team Chaos and Team GLHF. Once again, Team Chaos is current tied point leader at 8 points. Team GLHF sitting at 5 points, I believe it was. So they definitely do want to be getting these points here today, as, you know, really they're very motivated this week, using every single tool in their box. Even that first Devilmon of the entire tournament. It took us to week 3 to see that first Devilmon, but we're finally seeing that in play here now. All right, we're getting into this matchup here very, very soon. And interesting to see. So if you have a Molly versus Triton situation, right? Molly definitely does a lot better into a Triton, I would assume. But Triton is obviously going to be forcing that faster playstyle that maybe GLHF has to utilize here. Going for that AoE, CC, cleave style. Molly is not horrible into that. So maybe Team Chaos has kind of the upper hand here in the force pick of the Red Angemon that the teams have utilized here. So interesting to see how that plays out. And once again, this is just adding a little bit more RNG and, you know, flair to this tournament, as well as, you know, already we don't know if these monsters are going to be available. Maybe they're going to be other boxes, and they are not forced to pick them themselves. It is different from the Water Angemon, the Blue Angemon here. Once again, the Blue Angemon monsters are banned for both sides, but the Red Angemon is only forcing the opposing side to draft this monster. So maybe, you know, either won't come into play. I'm sure the Blue Angemon will come into play, but I'm not sure how much Kinky, you know, or Diana would really be drafted here anyways between these two sides. And I'm sure we're setting up those games in the back end here. We'll get into them very, very soon. I see Amadeus in the chat as well. And I mean, there is that Angemon is now forcing just one team to pick that unit, so there's, you know, no risk in using that Fire Angemon. Maybe Emma would like to see that even, you know, be that double-edged sword, that the Blue Angemon is maybe banning out one of your own counters, but now it is not, you're not forcing yourself to pick that one. So it would be interesting to see, maybe, you know, next week we'll have another Angemon, as, you know, these have been rolling in. There's still, you know, a couple other color Angemons left that I'm sure, you know, will cook up some fun new twists in the coming weeks. You know, hint hint, maybe players have to adapt to even more in the coming weeks. But for this week we have the 2 Angemons as well as the Devilmon, and yeah, interesting to see that the Devilmon is being used here. And you know, we see that captain matchup in the last match, and yeah, I'm not surprised to see that, you know, we haven't seen any Devilmon being used so far, as once again it's not really that impactful to find the matchups here, as technically you could really just have one player who really knows RT, who really knows the challenge mode, and kind of do the drafting for everyone else. Obviously it's a bit difficult as the players can't be seeing their teammates' monster boxes in real time. They have to watch these through the official channels as well to, you know, avoid the sniping of what the opposing side has available in their box. So, but I think we're finally getting into this first matchup here between Team Chaos and Team GLHF. The first match will be H Season versus Vinny. And here we go. We are getting into the first game. Let's look at the decks here. So, H Season actually has to draft the Molly. The and the Triton, they're both there. Oh my goodness. So is Vinny going to be first picking the Triton? He has to pick the Triton. So he's just going to lock it in right away. And Zayzas is so excited about that. We'll see if H Season does the same. He has to draft this Molly. We know he has to draft the Molly. So how is he going to be picking it around that? He's not first picking it. I hope he hasn't forgotten, because you have to pick that Molly. And also, there is a Diana available on Vinny's side that he's not allowed to use. So Vinny does have the Water Dracon Warrior, does have a Water Gojo. He has a couple of AoE options to go along with this Triton, but not a whole lot, honestly. You know, doesn't have a Dark Monkey, doesn't have any... Okay, I'm getting some feedback on the back end here. And yep, it is being picked right now. So Triton did not have to be first picked, as I just got confirmation from the referees here. And neither is the Molly. That doesn't have to be a first pick, but he has to be picked there at some point. So the Molly is now being locked in. So good that H Season is remembering that alongside of his teammates. And Vinny is now going for a Kumar here. We've seen a lot of Kumar with not a lot of success. It does have that skill 1 Oblivion that is quite nice into the Wind Zenitsu here, as well as the Molly, you know, does have that Oblivion to completely nullify those passives there, but he really hasn't been providing that much. H Season rounding off his draft with a Chow here, so going for a Boozer draft, and Molly, you know, doesn't seem all too bad in this draft. Meanwhile, on Vinny's side, that Triton is pretty bad, honestly. I mean, Triton, I don't think we've seen a single Triton pick in the first 2 weeks here, and obviously now we're forced to Triton pick, so Vinny just decides to get it over with first picking it, make sure that he does not forget about that. But we get in the first match here. The bans are out, the Chow's banned out, the Kumar actually in the respect, but obviously Triton with that incredible speed does take turn 1, but very underwhelming performance, right? They're only getting the pushback on the Molly, just glancing on other monsters, not even buff removing the Trondor here. Trondor does get that defend up on that Wind Zenitsu, but pretty awkward turning here, so it doesn't really have any buff removers. So using the Trondor skill 1 for buff removing, does get the Gojo here. Gojo does outspeed Belajul in this mode, so if you were to get a stun on that Gojo, you would be denied that turn, as Belajul would not be moving from the cleanse it. Now the Cardinal does get the slow there, so this might actually, nope, still moving in front, but does not connect with the stun. Gojo can now use that skill to get some buff removers and a violent proc as well. Not all too impactful, as Bellinger would be cleansing it up here anyways, but nice to get that skill 2 on a lower cooldown here. And H is now completely unprotected. The Triton will actually have a chance to get a 2-turn silence here as well, but Solvark will also be doing that. But also, this is post-balance patch gaming. So that Solvark S2 is a bit weaker now, only having 10% absorb, as opposed to that 15% that we had pre-balance patch. Either way, Gojo now taking another turn, does have skill 2 available already. Obviously very nice and low cooldowns right there. Dracon now going for that skill 2. Triton probably doesn't want to be using this skill 2 here, as most of the opposing side is already silenced. Molly actually not getting any value here with that heal block, but actually get a skill 1 buff remove on the threat stay on that Solvark. So getting some nice value with that Molly right there. The fish putting in work. So now H Season is free to target whoever he pleases. Doesn't have to go on that Solvark. But Gojo with that skill 2 and the defense buff is going to be doing a lot of damage with the heal blocks. Seeing across H Season's side. Oh my goodness, that is so much damage coming at that Gojo. The Molly is unable to heal these monsters, unable to cleanse anything as the silences. The Triton reapplying that silence for 2 turns on most of the opposing side here. But this Wind Zenitsu is dodging everything. We'll see what Vinny does go for here. Probably going to target this. No, going for the Chandra first here, as opposed to the Carnal. Does connect with a nice defense break from the Solvark here. And now Chandra is built on a violent build here, so could be violent procking out of this. Kind of really needs a violent proc here. Otherwise, I believe this Chandra will be dropping, but does not get that violent proc. Melayu, no skills available. Just a little bit of S1 damage on that defense broken Chandra with the Gojo. Not taking it out, but another violent proc for the Gojo, taking out the Chandra and once again procking back into that skill 2. That is just very... I mean, we've seen the Gojo do so much work in previous weeks as well, and he is not letting up here, doing so much. But now with the Zenitsu, I believe he has skill 2 available here. Most of the team is out of immunity. Zenitsu might be putting in some work, but only getting 1 stun. It is on the Gojo, which is probably the most important monster to get that stun on. But obviously Zenitsu is built on a violent build here, not the Despair build that Obabo has very much popularized on the ladder. So that skill 2 is not very consistent stunning, and so far, even with the nerf, the skill 2 is still very, very strong, getting those heal blocks, especially counting this Molly. And the Zenitsu only has 1 more skill 4 available. Does not have anything to utilize here. Only getting defense break on the Gojo. That is going to be lowering the damage a little bit, but still, the damage is there. Stealing the speed buff from the Zenitsu, getting that damage in. The defense buff is still additional damage coming through. Another stun on the Molly. Melayu getting the immunity, and this game is definitely over. So even with the Triton, first pick, force pick, it is not stopping Vinny. Maybe, you know, that Molly didn't do... The Molly actually didn't do anything really for H season either, so... You know, pretty nice utilization of both of these Red Angel Mons. And nice to see that both of them are being impactful in this first game, as Vinny does take that game and puts a point on the board for GLHF. A point that they definitely will be needing here. So very well drafted by Vinny right there. You know, he had the Triton. We haven't seen a single Triton all the past 2 weeks. Maybe we should have been seeing a bit more Triton, as it does take home the W there. Although Triton really didn't do a whole lot there, right? You know, it missed almost everything on that turn 1, and H Season's team was going to be moving anyways, so, you know, it did remove the immunities from a couple monsters, but without the pushback, the team moved anyways and would have moved out of those immunities either way. So maybe it was actually better that the Triton missed those pushbacks, as the units were starting that second turn with 0 attack bar there, and, you know, just moving into Vinny's immunity. By the way, well drafted by Vinny right there, and he does take the first match. Match 2 here, coming up now. Lordo against Dark Archomp. This was a Devil Mod match by GLHF. This was originally supposed to be True Rail in this second match instead of Dark Archomp, but they used that Devil Mod, switch this matchup up, and we'll see how that changes the flow here. It's also going to be interesting to see if those monsters are once again going to be the force picks are available in those boxes as we get in this game 2 here very, very shortly. So once again, Vinny does take that first game. Very strong performance right there. Really wasn't in trouble at all. The Solvark being so powerful with that heal block, still just fully countering Molly, and the silence. You know, he layered that silence with the Triton very nicely, and the Gojo just being a nuker. Like, who would have thought? You know, Water Gojo, Water Burner, just absolutely nuking the opposing field. I mean, you probably could have seen that coming, right? We've seen a couple weeks of this competitive challenge mode play now, and that Gojo has not changed. He has incredible additional damage. You know, that turn cycling on getting that attack bar every time it takes a turn, and just violent proccing, having low cooldowns on that skill too, just doing so much damage with that defense buff, and even being able to steal that speed buff off that Zenitsu right there, just doing so much work there. Melayu providing those little bit of heals, and yeah, H Season couldn't really get much going on there. He didn't really have... He had a Cardinal trying to get some control going. He took that turn 1 with that speed advantage from the Chandra, but there was no buff removers. Maybe he could have used that Triton himself. Either way, we are now getting this matchup 2 between Lordo and Dark Archomp very, very soon. here we go. It is Lordo and Dark Archomp. And once again, how is this possible? Once again, both sides have those must-pick monsters. And there's a Diana, which is not draftable. And no Kinky once again. Kinky seems like a really rare monster. There's an LD4. I'm not sure if it follows the same LD logic as other monsters, but it is not available once again. But what is available is that Molly and that Triton. So they are just being first picked. Once again, these teams don't want to be forfeiting these matches. Each point is so influential that they just want to be making sure they're not violating any rules here. They're just first picking those monsters. And Dark Archomp does have that Water Verter to go along with the Triton. Worked very well for Vinny. He has a Chiwu there as well as Solvark and a Carno. So actually a lot of AoE damage dealers on Dark Archomp's side. So Triton, not that bad of a pick here. Lord, on the other hand, you know, opting just go for that Bruiser style. These playstyles are kind of locked in place a little bit with these must picks from the Fire Angemon. The Triton obviously, you know, facilitating this turn 1 AoE CC playstyle, and the Molly, you know, going for that turn 2 more Bruiser side. And I mean, the other monsters in their boxes do definitely facilitate that playstyle as well. So we see that Solvark being drafted, as well as a Winsenitsu, which didn't do so well for HCs in that first matchup, but maybe it's going to do better in this CC Klee playstyle, as that damage dealer also does have those stuns in the skill too. Lordo now rounding off his draft with that Vertihal on that triple revenge build here, 100 res, and another 100 res monster in that Wind Twins, also providing some immunity to maybe get a turn cut and get that immunity, as well as some CC on its own as being built on Despair here. But if it does get controlled, that means it is not going to be violent proccing out. Dark Archon rounding his draft off with a Tessarian. So a lot of passive on Lordo's side, so it does pick up that anti-passive monster right there. Also, would I like to see the Carnal? I think Carnal is quite strong in this mode. Does have very nice runes with that crit damage build, and he does have the defense breaks already from 2 different sources. So if defense break, Carnal would do some serious damage, but Tessarian can also definitely provide that damage. Lordo banning out that Solvark here, and the Vertihal is being respected, as there's not that much hard CC. There are silences, you know, from a couple of different sources to try the Solvark combination once again, but no real hard CC besides the Winsenitsu and Water Burner S1. So Vertihal, very nice ban out by Dark Archomp here as we get in this match here. Triton once again will be taking that turn 1. We'll see how impactful is this Triton going to be. Into the Molly once again, so there's that glancing chance, but no fire monsters. So maybe the Triton gets a bit more value with some more pushbacks here. And the Triton does glance on the Shaha, but lands on everything else. So some nice pushbacks there. Werner looking to get even more pushbacks. And now the Zenitsu going for the skill 2, trying to get some stuns here. Only stunning the Chao, which obviously is going to be self-cleansing from that passive. Or maybe it is going to be Oblivion here to deny that. Which passive is he most worried about? It is going to be that Chao Oblivion, so that stun will be sticking in a bit longer. And we see the Shaha cutting as this thing got pushed back, but the Triton is actually moving next already. Lordo opted to just go for this Wind Zenith, so obviously it's going to be by far the squishiest monster. There's no healing on the side of Dark Archomp either, and the Triton missing the silence on the Wind Twins. That is a huge miss right there. We see why Triton is being put in that forced pick that is not doing its job here. Now the Wind Twin is able to get that immunity off, get those lows on Dark Archomp's side, and Tessarian now completely worthless. Cannot be landing any Oblivions here, as the full team of Lordo is immunityed up here. The Zenitsu is going to be dropping these damage over time. The heal block, the passive can't even heal him up here, so he's not long for this world. This is looking very good for Lordo. Shaha now taking a turn, already splitting that damage, going for the Gojo now, getting those dots, get even more attack bar on the Shaha passive. Wind Twins taking this turn here, gonna get that speed buff up, and stuns, does connect 2 stuns out of 3. Obviously Wind Twins cannot be stunned. Triton doing absolutely nothing, can't even return the slow right there. Glances thanks to that Molly. That was once again being a force draft. Now Molly getting a violent proc in this game is definitely over. Dots almost take out the Werner here. Their next turn, he will be gone. Gets the violent proc, even it's just adding insult to injury right there. Dark Archomp knows him. It's like, this is just not it. And with the dots, I believe the Zenitsu passive will be activating here, and it will be getting, I think it's actually just going to be dying, right? I don't own this monster. I'm not entirely sure on the interaction here, as it cannot be healed by the passive to the heal block. Actually, I don't think the passive been activated. It's not damaged or damaged from an opposing turn, so it just completely bypassed the passive with those dots over there. And Zenitsu is gone, and so is Dark Archon's chance of winning this match as Lordo ties up the score 1-1. Very well played by Lordo right there as he does tie it up, and we really saw how impactful the Soul Bark was in Vinny's draft. And with the Soul Bark being banned out in that game, Dark Archon really didn't have much with that Triton. The Triton performed a lot better than Vinny's Triton, right? Vinny's Triton missed almost everything, but Dark Archon's Triton landed a bit more stuff, but there was just no follow-up, and that Zenitsu is really just not it. On that Violent build, it doesn't have enough crowd control to fill that role, so that's why I really would like to see Dark Archon pick up that Cardinal, go for a bit more crowd control. It's not the most consistent crowd control unit in the game, as it's kind of a low activation rate with that stun and the slow and the pushback. But still, I think it would have performed a lot better than Zenitsu. Zenitsu also kind of just got farmed by that Shahad right there. The Shahad just got one Violent proc and it was kind of over. Lordo definitely did have more Violent procs in that game, but I do believe he had the draft as well. So he does tie it up 1-1. And we're looking forward to this next match here between Stay Hive and Jeff Boladao. As I mentioned multiple times in previous weeks, Stay Hive is arguably the highest ranked, the best challenge mode player out of the bunch here. But so far, he has not managed to get a single point on the board for Team Chaos. Obviously, he got 2-0 by Barventus in the first week. And in the second week, he picked up the Diana, which was banned. So he actually just forfeited that match. So Stay Hive and Jeff Boladao get in this game here very, very soon. But before that, hello. It is me here again, and yeah, we can getting that match ready on the back end there between Stay Hive and Jeff Boladao. So it is 1-1 right now. Team Chaos, with that 1 point, is going to be taking the untied, the uncontested first place in our leaderboard so far. But obviously, the other team, Skills Over Bills, has not played yet, so they do have a chance to catch up. But Team Chaos is now sitting at 9 points in our leaderboard, while Team GLHF is only at 6. So even if they do take the last 2 matches here, Team GLHF, they cannot catch up with Team Chaos. So Team Chaos sitting very pretty, but all these points are very impactful as we get in this game right now, and looks like the sides are a bit messed up here. But either way, Jeff Boladao, he has a Triton, but there's no Molly on Stay High side. So this Triton force pick is incredible, as only one side can have a Triton. And how is the Triton landing on Team GLHF every single game? This is just unbelievable. How there's a Triton every single time. And well, it worked out pretty well for Vinny. And it's actually, again, there is the Triton Soulbark combination on Jeff Boladao's side. So it's not the end of the world maybe with this Triton pick here. At least it doesn't have like a complete bruiser box with the Triton. And Jeff Boladao does maybe adapt and learn from Dark Archon mistakes there, picking up the Carnal, as well as the 50% accuracy Water Monkey for more CC. And Stay High, as he does not have that Molly in his box, he is fully free to draft. There's also no Diana, no Kinky. So Stay High literally has no restrictions on his drafting whatsoever. Every single monster he has available, he can use. And he's not forced to use any of those ones. Meanwhile, Jeff Boladao obviously cannot be drafting that Diana. Not that he probably would want to draft that anyways. Goes for a Wind Twin and a Lamila, trying to get a bit more damage. Lamila also quite nice into this Water Burner. And so is that Shiho. These monsters with, good additional damage or true damage does very well into that high defense, relatively low HP Water Burner. So Stay High rounding off his draft with a Shizuka here. Looking to get that invisibility from that Water Monkey on his side of the field. And I mean, that Chao is just going to be such a menace. There's no healing on the side of Jeff Boladao, aside from that little bit of self healing that Karna has on skill 2. So Lamila is being banned out, and the last pick of Shizuka is being respected. So Stay High's draft is looking very, very good here. Obviously, Jeff Boladao will be taking the turn 1 with that Triton. Once again, a very fast monster. Actually, the Shiho will take the turn 1. Shiho is the fastest monster in challenge mode. So Shiho will be moving first, and followed up by that Triton here. As we get in this game, can the Shiho connect here? Probably going to be targeting this, though. Goes for the burner, just knows that additional damage, really wants to pile that additional damage through, take out this monster. But in doing so, he is boosting up Fire Megumi that now can cut in and get that stun. So this is why I probably would have liked to see the stun go out on the Fire Megumi, but it's actually very awkward either way. Because even if you do stun that monster, the Gojo is gonna cut in and get the Violent Proc out now, but he opts to go for the Silence instead of the Strip here. Riley is now going to be taking that burn, and it's going to be just healing up that burn to full HP. And this is such an uphill battle for Jeff pull it out. Team Jeff is not getting any favors with this Triton Force pick on their side. And the Megumi taking another turn there from the passive, has the skill available. Once again, Shiho doing very well, getting that all right there. And I believe Sean B has now joined us. What's going on, Sean?
What's going on, Topa? What's going on right now?
We are right now in the middle of match 3 in the first set of games, or first team battle, I guess. Match 3. So far, Stay Hive and Jeff Bullet are in the match. And Stay Hive is probably going to be winning this one.
Looking like it, man. I see the Chow is actually clapping cheeks at the moment, and the only damage dealer on the other side is done.
Yeah, the Cardinal is out without really getting a whole lot of contribution right there. Obviously, Shiho does have skill available, but Chow Justice goes right through that and will cut through the Shiho like a hot knife through butter.
Oh, Fire Megumi coming back in. I think it's kind of over, right? Because I don't think Shiho is a solo damage carry potential. So Stay High probably have this one in the bag.
Yeah, definitely. The Chow is just such a monster in this matchup here. Shiho does have some solo potential, but not against the Chow. When you can't keep that Chow controlled, you can't protect yourself from that Chow damage. And there's also I mean, everything is near full health. There's a full health Riley getting that attack of making the Chow hurt even more.
I think Jeff probably made one of the classic drafting mistake here with going in with two AoE strip, but not a whole lot of follow-ups. So I think in Special League, it's probably extremely hard to do like the double strip 3 follow-up, because the follow-up are actually not that impactful.
Yeah, the follow-up is very limited in this mode, and that really goes to show how smart Team Chaos was with their Red Angel on here, force picking that Triton on GLHF, and so far it's come to fruition in all 3 games they've had that Triton, so they've been forced to pick that monster and hasn't been performing very well at all.
Yeah, Triton is one of those monsters where it's like the potential man, it is potentially really good, but unfortunately not really. And once again, even after so many buffs, he is still a arena defense monster, not really an RTA monster.
Yeah, it really is. Just at that high base speed, but really doesn't provide a whole lot past turn 1. And when a lot of these games, especially in challenge mode, you go very far past that turn 1, Triton is just not going to be your guy for that match. And Stay Hive does take the point for Team Chaos.
Oh my god, is that the first Stay Hive win?
that is the first thing coming up. I was alluding this earlier as well. He's arguably the highest ranked player in this mode, but he has not been performing at all. But now finally does come through and put a point on the board for Team Chaos.
Maybe this is the start of Stay Hive's winning streak, potentially. Showing the drafting right that he knows that he gotta go turn 2, gotta pick up the Riley, gotta pick up the Chow, so that his team is gonna be very strong in the late game. And I think that is overall the meta for not special league, challenge mode, which is you gotta bring it to the late game, and the power of the artifact, the power of the runes is gonna show up real quick.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've seen this week in and week out. It's always gonna be that turn 2 bruiser playstyle that really comes out on top. Even though the Water Gandalf is no longer available in the box, that's still, you know, there's Angela, there's the Riley, there's just in general, the monsters have so much health and, you know, defense, tanky stats, bruiser stats, they're going to be naturally drawn to that longer fight.
All right, now we got, I believe those are both team captain in the final round.
Yeah, we have the classic captain showdown. This was once again Devilmond between Truewell and Dark Archon. So Truewell was originally going to be in that match too, and Dark Archon lost that match too. So Truewell really needs to get that win here, or that Devilmond was definitely wasted.
This is also looking like the SWC America final type match right here, though. This is crazy. This is good. What did I say? All beef is in this match kind of as well because Zazas and Truwell, I believe, face one another in America SWC very frequently, and this is just gonna be intense.
Definitely going to be. These are two very smart and capable players, but obviously their hands are maybe tied a bit behind their back here as they are limited by the challenge mode monster box here. And Truwell, for once, doesn't have Triton in his box, and neither does Zazas have the Molly. So the force picks are not in play this time, but the Diana, which was pre-banned, is there. So Truwell cannot be picking that monster.
Yeah, if someone's hand is tied, it's definitely Truwell here because Zazas do have some familiar unit that he played with a whole lot, like Shiho, Megumi, Velajul, that Wind Monkey. The RGB Lord knows his way around these characters.
And he also has that light Horang, which costed him a lot of money, as he likes to say, last year in SWC when he, lost it in the America's Cup Finals and then lost it in the World Finals as well. So he does have that light Horang, light Tailbeck available, and Truwell on the hand does have a patter as his LD response.
But I don't really like the light around this position without a dedicated healer, though. I think that is also one of the biggest downside to this unit when people are trying to use it in SWC without a healer. And they soon realize that he doesn't do that well without, I don't know, a Riley, a Rakuni, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you definitely want to be playing the Horang with a healer to really get it that late game and get the additional damage rolling, and, this stack his speed. It does stack very fast, but the addition damage doesn't really come through until later in the game. And Zazas doesn't have any of those healers available. They're all on Truwell's side. Truwell has the Riley, has the Angela, has the Wusa, has even the Molly. So all the healers are really there. And if Truwell really just stacks these healers, maybe with a Chow, I think he's definitely going to be in the upper hand here.
All right, we got double healer coming out from Truwell. I would say Payne is not really a real healer, but it is somewhat like a Velajul Pro Max over there. We got the Wind Zenith still getting picked up after the 2 water, looking pretty good. I think it's either that or a Wind Monkey last pick is gonna do great for Zazas.
I wouldn't hate, this Wind Twin here either. Just getting that buff remover, getting the speed buff, boosting your Horang even more. Maybe some stuns as well, although Truwell's team is very much anti-stun here. And the bans, I think Truwell could be just banning out the Velajul, just denying Zazas of any sort of sustain and trying to win the long match here, as he definitely has the more durable team here.
Yeah, I think, but the Hwarang ban I think is pretty good because once again, Zazas is now in a position where he doesn't have a lot of damage, and Truwell does have a lot of healing, and a guy that will get way stronger over time. That's the Water Gojo once again.
Yeah, definitely don't hate the Horang ban. It can't ever really go wrong banning that monster. But the Shiho, the additional damage, can do a lot of damage. We've seen this many times before, how the Shiho, 1 skill 3, right off the get-go, does half of the Water Burner's health, pretty much. So this Water Burner, with the limited healing on Truwell's side, may not last very long. The Shiho can get a couple more skills off.
Oh, that is a good defense break, maybe. Oh, there's no violent pro. Okay, you know what? Maybe that Werner is not in a good place after all.
And the Werner does get the turn, even though it doesn't move, does still get that defense buff up, so protecting himself a little bit. But Megumi takes that defense buff right away. Says, my defense buff now. And Velajul cleans that defense break as well, also getting a violent proc, so Megumi is going to be all the way back to full health. And the Wind Twin does now move in front of the patter, so it's a bit awkward for Zazas here, as he can't really be using the strip here, since the patter will just put immunity up right again.
Another situation where you kind of have to do your homework to know this is about to happen. So wasted kind of a turn right there, getting speed buff, which will allow the Water Gojo to steal all that juiciness.
And Patter getting a violent proc here, but it's not doing that much damage. Then Megumi got very lucky in taking away that defense buff from the Gojo. So very nice and tanky on that Megumi right there. But the Gojo now does get that turn. Could be looking to slurp all of these buffs here. Does not get the invisibility, which is definitely what he was looking for to protect that Werner a bit more here.
Yeah, that was a great slurp right there. A whole little buff on the Water Gojo, enjoying the protection. And now the healing will finally come out of the Wusa, and soon the Patter as well. And if he brings down somebody, that unit is going to be dead. Unlike the Werner, is still under protection of the Vanessa skill 3. So Zazas got a lot to work through. Oh, that looks like it's gonna be pain.
Yeah, that is going to hurt. The patter is going to be coming here, but does he actually opt to go for the immunity? I think immunity might still be the better play here, as that Shiho does have skills available and could be looking to stun a lot of monsters. So does go for that immunity. No violent proc coming out of there. The Velaju does have skills available, so it is going to be cleansed that defense break off that Megumi here very, very soon.
Oh, now you can actually stun patter. So a lot of people forget about the fact that you can actually stun this LD5 that is supposedly immune, not immune, self-cleansing stun, but you can stun it under the bear form. So this is, even though the moment where the unit can heal, it is also the window of weakness where you can actually stun it.
Ooh, Shiho with that damage. So good damage. Almost taking out the Werner there, and Windwind with 557 damage does finish it off. Obviously, Vanessa does have the pass available and getting a very nice violent proc here. Seiza is not happy about that. Now this can look to land another defense break and might be enough to take out this Megumi here.
Oh, especially when he can potentially steal the invincibility and you cannot touch this unit anymore, but did not have the chance to do it, and now back to being under pressure.
Oh, and this is actually a very good turn order for Zezas here. There's no immunity at all on the side of Truwell right now. And actually, well, Werner does get one immunity right there, but Shiho's skill 2 is coming through, and this pattern is actually being fully controlled when it can be controlled. This is very fortunate for Zezas here.
Oh, the skill 3 is about to come back soon. He needs to stun the Shiho if you want to have a chance of winning. Because the and he did! And he did! He got the stun through.
Has a colossal stun coming out of Water Burner, getting that Shiho in control, as the Vanessa passive is now back up as well. So the Water Burner is not leaving this battlefield just yet. Velaju gets another very nice violent proc. That's been very proc happy to Velaju here, so does have immunity up once again next turn.
Can he get it one more time? Can he get it again? He's waiting for... Oh my god! He got it, and he got the violent proc as well. Zezas getting the Vio special coming out from Truwell.
Yeah, very nice proc right there. It removed the speed buff from the Velaju, but not the Shiho. And, well, actually, it doesn't matter. Shiho is going to be dropping there. I believe the Velaju was moving from this. Could have cleansed it up, but Truwell does anchor his team and bring it home, tying it up for 2-2 in this matchup here.
For the first time, Truwell has left the space station to be back here with us.
Yeah, great to see Truwell in action right there. Well drafted by both players, I would say. You know, it was definitely a chance for either one to take it there. You know, that Velaju got quite a few violent procs, did get some solid healing right there, but the Shiho just couldn't quite pull through right there, and the Vanessa passive wasn't enough to keep the Werner alive just long enough.
Yeah, I think that last win-to-win draft was a bit sus because it kind of didn't really do anything the entire round, but it's like giving more buff to the Water Gojo on the other side. And in the late game, it once again didn't really do much, just like the previous draft where the Triton, the Wind Twin, was supposed to be like the AoE strip unit, but they end up just not doing a whole lot.
Yeah, there wasn't any follow-up for that Wind Twin, and it also was very awkward with that pattern, right? You couldn't even utilize the Wind Twin in that first turn. You know, because obviously the vision was there. You have the Wind Twin AoE buff remove into a Shiho skill 2 all. You know, hopefully you get the all and not the nothing, so you can actually have that some control on the board there. But the pattern just threw a whole wrench in that plan and completely negated that.
Pretty much. And the slow didn't really work out too well. The stun didn't really happen. The Shiho was there, but it also couldn't really do anything. And I think we got a draw for this one.
Yeah, we did. Both teams, as we see right there. Chaos stays in first place, and GLHF actually, I guess, moves up to tied third place instead of tied fourth, as they both put 2 points on the board, and that is our updated leaderboard for the time being.
And guys, we might be having something juicy coming up very, very soon here. Thank you so much for watching the stream with us today. So there should be a coupon code flying somewhere down there very, very soon. And that is the coupon code, the first one for today. It's going to be challenge mode J Jang for energy and mana stone.
I wonder what that means. Challenge mode J Jang. By the way, what that means is you get some energy and some mana stones, so make sure to get that in. Appreciate you guys taking your time on a Friday or maybe even Saturday morning, you know, if you're across the globe to join us for this America Summit Week 3 here.
And that is the first part of the show, guys. Thank you so much for watching so far. We are going into a short break and we'll be back very, very shortly. So we'll see you here after the break.
must be a bit of me who wants to lose. I realize that you are the sunlight in my life, and I think that I need you to shine by my side.
Welcome back to the
Hello?
America Summit Week 3. And
going,
we
keep
have
going.
Sean here now with us. And Sean, you know, now that you got caught up on that Fire Angemon rules, you were asking for this last week. What do you think about that edition so far?
Dude, I'm so excited because we're just adding so much more restriction to these matches. So this week we have a new rule on top of the old rule. So last week we got a new rule that forced us to pre-ban something in challenge mode, which is not really in the game. It is something that we did so that we can potentially ban out some of the more annoying monster that either make the games very unfun for everybody and very hard to deal with, like the Water Gandalf. But we did it too well. The Water Gandalf is also gone for the special for the challenge mode this time around. And for this week, we have a new rule that is the Red Angemon. So we're calling all the rules with the material in game. So this will force the enemy team to pick one unit the entire time. So in challenge mode, not only we get a preset box, we also get unit that we might not like to play with. For example, Triton was the one that was forced upon the enemy team in the previous round. And Triton is one of those units where you really only use that character in a very specific situation, not all the time. But when you have to draft it all the time, your win rate tank a whole lot. And that is the purpose of this special rule that we want to implement into the challenge mode to make it even more challenging for all these very endgame players.
Yeah, definitely. Triton, you know, really only fits into a very specific playstyle. And challenge mode, there's, as we mentioned, not very many follow-ups for it. As we get in this next match between Skit Sons and the other team that I don't now remember the matchup of, but either way, we are getting this draft phase here, and we'll see who they match up.
All right, they're deciding on their first player. I think they will soon decide on whether they want to pre-ban a monster or they want to pre-select a monster for the enemy. The pre-ban rule also apply to you. So I think when you pre-ban something, it's gone from both sides. So you might pre-ban a strong unit from your side. So you gotta be really careful when you use this kind of rule.
Yeah, definitely. Here we see Banana Boys, Skid Sun's opponent here, as they, you know, are very in theme here once again and deciding who they want to put up against Sappy there in that first match.
All right, Sappy, one of a very, very strong player in the tournament. So going against him is going to be so challenging. That's for sure.
Apps.
Alright, sounds like Apps, the team captain, has just made his selections. It is going to be Zex in that first match up against Sappy, who has been performing very well in this tournament so far. And Apps put himself in that blind matchup in that match too, you know, obviously not knowing who his opponent is going to be from Skid Sun. So we'll see how Skid Suns and team leader Daniel Carioca responds to this.
Do you think the meta has changed a whole lot recently in the challenge mode for these players? Or is this gonna still be like the bruiser, tank, endgame, water gojo dominating kind of thing?
I think the meta hasn't changed a whole lot. Water Gandalf is just gone, which, you know, opens up a little bit of the faster play. But also, obviously, we're going to be seeing very different matches here today due to the implementation of the Red Angemon and the force picks. So we saw, you know, Triton having to be drafted 3 out of the 4 matches, and that really just forced them to go down, like that Water Dracon, Cardinal, Lamila AoE playstyle, and even then it didn't work out too well for them.
All right, we got round 2 with Amo Days
All right, who
against
you're next to?
Abzi.
Ooh, it
It's
is
gonna
Amo.
be an exciting one for the Twitch viewers.
Let's see. Varventus is up next.
Yeah, that is definitely
Who's their
in
last
this
person?
English
Oh,
stream
so whoever's
couple
fourth will be
are
fighting.
more popular content creators
DK.
facing out in that second match.
So I guess
if,
Guillermo
you know,
fights
there's no
DK,
double mob being
so-
used.
so,
It's definitely gonna be an
Rhino-
interesting matchup here.
Guillermo.
And looks like Team Banana Boys is now deciding on their final 2 picks here.
Juventus, one of the wild card of the tournament, even though he is not very high ranked in the actual RTA, he's been performing pretty well against these endgame players, which goes to show that in challenge mode, everybody is the same. Whether you have spent $5 million or whether you have spent $5 in Summoners World, you are presented with the same box, same route, and all that's left is your brain.
Yeah, it really is goes to show, you know, the skill in some sense, you know, does come out a bit more in this challenge mode. But, you know, you get presented with 14 random assortment, 14 monsters, and you really got to be making the best choice out of those. And sometimes, you know, you can only choose 4 now, as, you know, we'll be hearing very shortly here if these teams are using, or who their teams are using these Fire Angel Mons on, as I'm sure they'll be utilizing those, Sean.
All right, we'll be waiting for the decisions to see whether they will change their placement, who want to face who they want to pre-ban, and who they want to pre-select for the enemy. So that's a lot of extra rule that we're adding on this challenge mode to make it more exciting for everyone involved, including the viewers, and make it more fun and challenging for the players in there as well. Because when you end up with a fixed pool of monster, you end up seeing the same monster as well-ish, because there is a meta anyway in every mode whatsoever. So we're trying to spice it up for everyone involved in this tournament here.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of those Fire Angemon choices, I really like the Triton that Team Chaos utilized that first matchup. Team GLHF, for your information, pre-selected Molly for the opposing side. You know, Molly was drafted in the first 2 games, I believe, but then it didn't appear in the last 2, as, you know, they didn't have that in their box. But I think Triton is a phenomenal monster, you know, have your opponent force pick.
Is Molly good in the challenge mode? I mean, technically, she's still like a dedicated healer, and that might go against you in the end game.
Yeah, it might. I guess in the Molly games, she ended up winning 1 and losing 1, so, you know, didn't really like make a bigger difference. On the other side, the Triton was force picked in 3 games, and it lost 2 and only won 1. So Triton definitely seemed like the worst monster of the matchup. So interesting to see if these teams are going to be utilizing, you know, maybe obviously they've been watching. We've seen a couple of them here in chat as well, you know, the team captains. They've been watching the stream, and maybe, you know, so like, oh yeah, Triton, that unit does kind of suck. Maybe I should Fire Angel on that monster.
I wish they would hire Angemon like an LD5 or something. That'd be pretty cool as well. But then the LD5 usually don't appear out of all the 5 matches. Ooh, we heard Banana Boys are going to pre-ban a unit and also pre-select a unit for the enemy team. I wonder what that's gonna be.
Yep, we are bare of us, as you know, we have, you know, communications back and forth here. And Fire Megumi has been banned, so that is definitely an influential monster. You know, which side has it, can't use it, and we're waiting to hear on who is that force draft monster that they're imposing on Skid Sons.
Which is, oh, the force pick for Banana Boys on the enemy team is going to be Kaki, the Fire Kinky, if you're more familiar with the Kinky. So we won't see Fire Megumi, and we will be seeing Kaki potentially on the enemy draft. Can we pre-ban Fire Megumi entirely in normal RTA too? That'd be very much appreciated.
Yeah, I'm sure the community would like. I'm sure the community would love that, especially after, you know, this balance patch that maybe do so much.
Oh, we just got news that the other teams, Skidson, will be changing their placement. They want to swap their players order, and they also pre-select Triton for Banana Boys.
And here we see the updated matchups in just 1 second. I believe that will be coming through. So Daniel Carioca's team will be switching 2 of their players' placements, and there we have it. Daniel Carioca has moved to match 3, and Varventus the hidden GOAT is once again the anchor for his team and being placed in that match 4.
And that will be the final matchup. Once again, just to remind the audience, we have a Fire Megumi pre-ban for both teams. So that unit is not going to show up anytime soon in this round. And we have the Kaki being pre-selected for Skitson, the Daniel Kiriko team. And we have Triton pre-select for Ab's team, which is Banana Boys.
Yeah, the Triton pre-select feels pretty strong. I don't think there is a Kaki available in the challenge mode, so I think there might be some miscommunication, because we did hear, I definitely heard that too. I heard Fire Kinky, but I believe it's just Kinky that is going to be the force pick there, because there is no Kaki available. Or maybe, you know, they're just absolutely trolling, like, you know what, we'll just throw you a force pick the slime, but I don't think a slime is ever going to show up in that challenge monster box, so...
Wait, there's no Kaki? I remember seeing Kaki before. No, that's confirmed. No Kaki at all.
No, there's no Kaki in that box, unless it's been changed in, you know, very recently. But yeah, there's as far as I know, there's no Kaki available in that. So I believe it is just going to be Kinky. And we actually saw that Kinky was a pre-ban. That was a blue Angemon in the last match, but Kinky never showed up in the box. So that is also, feels like it kind of follows like some LD rules. I'm not exactly sure on like the logic of those 14 pre-selected monsters, but Kinky feels like a very rare monster to have there. So might be kind of a wasted red Angemon.
Oh, so they're forcing Kinky to be pre-selected. So Kinky is a unit that was one of the strongest LD 4-star in the game. I would say 5 years ago, something like that. Really, really strong character, counter attack, double hit, defense break, self-healing, crazy damage. But it has been nerfed to a very, very soft version of what it was before. So if you haven't noticed, now he only counter attack with a single hit attack, so less damage, less healing, less chance of defense break overall. So unfortunately, Kinky is not as crazy as before, if you remember Kinky from his prime day.
Yeah, Kinky has fallen so far that it's now being forced upon your, you know, to be drafted by your opponent. That's how not scary he is. You know, it's definitely turned into a baby cough instead of the hydrogen bomb that used to be there before. So Kinky now doesn't even leech any life on that revenge, and it's built on a despair build here in the challenge mode. So, you know, against all the immunities as well, like Kinky there struggles very, very hard.
Yeah, Kinky, I still use Kinky a whole lot in Siege. He's gonna reduce down to purely a dark element LD5 tank, because he still does a pretty good job in that department, where he can take a lot of hit from unit like Fermion and make Fermion look like a joke, unfortunately. So he's still very good there, in particular for tanking dark unit, but that is pretty much it.
Yeah, it works great as a tank when, you know, you're fighting as AI and it's always going to be targeting that monster, but when you just avoid the tank, then, you know, well, that's kind of just nullifies the point of a tank altogether if it's not even being targeted. But we're getting into this matchup between Zex and Sappy, the first matchup between Skit Sons and Banana Boys here very, very soon.
I guess it's still okay-ish if you use him against like an AoE team. I think that is also one of the strong point of the unit. Back in RTA, when he was good, is you pick it against strong AoE team, he counter attack, he might stun. But now we have like the Pro Max version with the Wind Monkey to counter attack every time. Even if your mom cough at you from the next room, he'll also counter attack and then stun and strip and defense break you.
Yeah, that might also work out pretty well for Team Skit Sons here, as they're the ones that have the force pick the Kinky, and Banana Boys have the force pick the Triton, which Zexy does have available in his box, so he's going to be having to draft this Triton here. And obviously that kind of forces him to AoE playstyle, as you mentioned. Kinky does get those counters in against that, so not the worst thing. But Sappy looking to start off his draft with a Chow here.
Oh, got a Chow first from Sappy. Zexy will have to pick the Triton somehow. And he does have two AoE follow-up in the form of the Chrono and the Dragon Warrior. So that should allow him to pick the Triton.
Oh, that's
the draft
bad.
Kind of makes sense. Oh, no, don't do that. Don't do that.
No.
We pre-banned the Fire Megumi, so he draw that back. So we don't have to remake the drafting phase. So Sappy know that the Triton is coming. He can't afford to go very bruiser heavy.
Well, Sappy actually doesn't know that the Triton is coming. Obviously, they cannot see the opposing boxes, and there's a chance that the Triton is not present there. But it is present in this case, and I hope Zex, also realizes that there's a Triton, and has to pick that, and he does. The Triton is being drafted in. Unfortunately, Sappy did not just throw the match by picking that Fire Mega BS. Once again, that is being Blue Angemon pre-banned out. So if you were to pick that monster, they just forfeit the point, and these points are so impactful. Skitson's currently sitting in last place with only 3 points to their name.
Okay, looking pretty good draft for Sappy right there. Zexy doesn't really have a damage dealer if the blue Dragon Warrior get banned out. So I'm not sure how it's going to proceed with this one. We got the Wind Zenitsu as well, looking really strong, or the Wind Bayak for the damage combined with the Vert can be quite devastating. So maybe Zex has a chance here.
He might have a chance, but man, that Triton force pick is really good force pick. Like, that unit is just so bad in a lot of these cases. Like, I'm looking around at all these monster boxes here too, and trying to see, like, okay, what would be like a really good red Angemon monster that you really, that is a really bad monster you want to fight against, and I just can't find a better one than Triton, to be completely honest. So that Triton just seems like a complete sit-in duck in this matchup here too.
That's true. Maybe Chiwu is also not too bad, seeing how there are a lot of strong water bruiser in the challenge mode. So forcing a Chiwu is also kind of forcing a Triton right there. Should be pretty cool.
Yeah, it could be, but either way, the Birdhouse is being banned out from Zex's side, and the Diana is banned out from Sappy's team. So Zex does actually get his double silence team here. So both the Triton does obviously have a silence, as well as that Soul Bark. So the Vanessa won't be reviving anything if it is silenced, and the Triton does get a couple of pushbacks. Obviously cannot push back the Water Gojo here.
It's kind of funny that we are making challenge mode Ultra Nightmare level, which is Force Triton. Like, you're already forced to play with a unit you're not familiar with. Now you're forced to play with a weak unit in the meta. Oh god.
Yeah, it really compounds here, and kind of just adds even more RNG factors. As we saw, Zexy was actually the one who had that Kinky in his box. That Kinky being on Sappy's side, he would have been forced to draft that Kinky. But that is neither here nor there, as that is not the case. And Zexy missing the strip on that immunity right there. So, okay, does connect with the Wind Twins, so Solvar can look to silence the entire team.
Man, this Chow crit, that will be pretty huge. Because that is a defense broken win Bayak Shahat right there. And that is pretty much Zach's only chance, the win condition. That unit, can it survive the Chow and the Water Gojo coming right up?
Well, there's Threat Stay sitting on top of the Soul Bark, so, the Shaha is protected a little bit here, but the Riley does get a Violent proc as well, so Sappy's entire team is basically back to full health there, as that strip was missed on the Gojo, and therefore could not be heal block right there, and obviously Riley can then seal it up, so this Shaha really has to put in a lot of work for Zexy to win this match here.
And also because there's no healing, Sappy went straight and sent that skill 2 of Chow into the Water Dragon Warrior, and now that thing is half health, no way to heal that thing. So sooner or later that Water Dragon Warrior is going down, and the Wind Chancellor will have to do the hard carry job. But there's also a healer cleanser in Sappy team that makes Zach's job even harder, trying to land the dots and keep the dots on. That is the most important part.
Exactly, and the Riley skill 3 or the skill 4, the totem skill, cannot be silenced, and that's the main control that Zex has here. Obviously has 3 monsters that actually has silence, obviously 2 AoEs with the Triton and the Soulbark, but also Shaha does have a single target silence, but none of that matters as you AoE here. Now that does give Riley the 3rd totem, and she doesn't care about that. She can just really use that totem skill.
Oh my god, that damage. It absolutely brings everybody down. And this guy's about to move again with the skill 2. Water Gojo being one of the most devastating monsters in challenge mode. It's just so satisfying to see, because he's just not that popular in actual RTA. But here, he's looking real strong.
Yeah, he's looking very strong. Even into triple wind, just no problem. Additional damage, doesn't really care about glancing. You can go right through the elemental disadvantage right there. And yeah, Water Gojo, not a monster we see very often, but we did actually see Raxus utilize that to great effect in the Legend tournament recently as well. So maybe a bit underutilized in a regular RTA. Would like to see more people be picking that monster up, as such a menace here in the challenge mode.
Pretty much. And I think the lack of LD5 to punish this guy is also a huge problem because in normal RTA, he might have to face Gianna, we got Eva, we got like Veronica and Maximilian, all the stuff to scare him. But here, the natural enemy doesn't even phase him, which is crazy.
Here you just have Riley Prox on your side to cleanse the silence, heal up your burner. Burner was about to go down. Vanessa was silenced there too, but no problem. Riley's there to fix that right back up. And Zex is almost back to square one. Really just trying to work on this burner, but it's not enough. And the Shaha will be dropping here so that Vanessa could just get that free bounce. And Sappy does take the first game.
Dude, the Force Triton pick is working so well. Instantly make it a 3v4 for one side. It's crazy.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised to honestly see that it wasn't a double Triton force pick, right? So whichever side that has that Triton is forced to pick it. But either way, you know, I guess it wouldn't have mattered in this case, since, you know, obviously Zex was the one that was picking up that Triton and had to pick up that Triton. So, but yeah, we see once again that Fire Angemon is really making a difference in this week's matchups.
Also, I think the Fire Megumi pre-select for the enemy was not really ideal because we are seeing the Werner and the Chow combo being drafted all the time by these players. So those two eat Fire Megumi for breakfast. So I'm not sure about the Fire Megumi force pick here.
Yeah, the Fire Megumi was the
pre-ban
in the pre-ban. So you know, Sappy did consider that monster, and he was probably going to be drafting that monster had he had the option to do so. So, you know, maybe not the worst pre-ban, but obviously the pre-ban is always, it also applies to you. The Red Angemon only applies to your opponent, so you don't have the risk of, you know, oh, let's Red Angemon the Triton here, right? And then, oh shoot, I have the Triton, I have to pick it now. Nope, no problem. But with the Blue Angemon, if you do pre-ban that Fire Megumi, you can't use it yourself either, you know, the counter, maybe the Triton that the opponent might be picking against you.
Yeah, I think it's like the you read the Triton pre-select on your team, so you have to pre-ban the Fire Megumi, because if you have to use the Triton against Fire Megumi, it's even more devastating overall.
Yeah, that is just a long day at work from picking a Triton into a Fire Megumi, and you know, all the other counters that are present. You don't even need the Fire Megumi. As Sappy showed us right there, you don't need the Fire Megumi to beat a Triton. Triton is not very strong, especially here in challenge mode. But we're moving on to the second matchup here between Abs and Amadeus.
This is turning into a lobby campaign for Triton buff pretty much at this point.
Yeah, that's kind of what it seems like. Well, Vinny was able to get a win with the Triton, so Triton's not completely winless. It is, it does have a 25% win rate. You know, it's not a great win rate, but it's not sitting at 0. Like, I believe there are some monsters that have been drafted and have not gotten a win yet. Maybe Kumar is one of them. Has Kumar ever gotten a win, Sean?
Yeah, Kumar is another fake unit in this game mode where you feel like, ooh, Oblivion, that sounds so cool, and then he doesn't actually land it, and then his damage is lackluster, and he didn't really do anything. Kind of a problem.
And we'll see. Is the Kumar going to be drafted in this game, as Apps does have it available? And in the meantime, their Triton is on the wrong side, and there's no Kinky percent either. So no force picks in this game. And the pre-bans as well. The Fire Megumi is available on App's side, so he's not able to utilize that monster. But he does have Light Horang and the Maximilian, 2 LDs that he actually owns, so he's very familiar with those.
Wow. Not only Maxi Light Torrang, we also have the Wind Dragon Warrior. So we got like crazy double speed lead. You got a lot of follow-up option. That looks really good for Apps right there in terms of the first pick and the last pick as well.
Yeah, he is going straight into that double Dracon Warrior. It is the nerf Dracon Warriors, right? We did have that balance patch, so that skill 2 is slightly weaker on both of those, but they are still very, very strong, even in challenge mode when they don't have all that much additional damage. Amadeus knows that the Wind Dracon Warrior is on Despair, so it does pick up a Hey Gang to counter that turn 1 coming out from him.
Okay, looking like a really strong turn 2 for Amo as well. We got the Pawn Toss, we got the Payder. So I think he already locked in 2 strong damage dealer, and he can easily go in with another 2 LD protection unit, and that would make Amo team really strong.
And definitely, he does have a lot of anti-CC, anti-stun cleanse monsters available here. Both his LDs are actually designed for that role with the Pontos and the Patter, and then he also has that Riley that has been performing quite well in today's tournament.
Do you wonder why he did not pick up the Wind Monkey King, even though technically on paper it should be really good against the Dragon Warrior? But there it is.
And there it is. It doesn't have the best synergy of Hey Gang, as this Wind Monkey is built on revenge and not will. And we've also seen in previous weeks the Wind Monkey just lacks so much in damage. It's built on that crit rate build with plus 30,000 hit points, so the damage is quite lackluster. But Apps doesn't have any healing on his team right now, so doesn't really need a whole lot of damage. You just kind of need that survivability, that disruption, obviously being very annoying with revenging everyone and their mom from the next room.
Oh, picking a Chow into double win is a little bit sus to me. I think that's probably going to be like a Shizuka ban and potentially a Dyna ban, because Dyna looking real strong in this one.
Yeah, this is definitely an uphill battle for Apps here once again. Just not having any healers. That Chow does have that little bit of self-healing, but the main source of damage are those wind monsters. Once again, the monkey doesn't have a whole lot of damage, but the Patter also packs a punch with the monkey setting up a defense break for it.
All right, we're going to Light Harang ban, going to Dyna ban. Abs will have the HP lead from Shizuka, not speed lead as usual. He's forcing the enemy team to go first so he can turn the table around with the Shizuka skill 3. Maybe.
Very well played by Apps right there, not picking up the speed lead. Kind of baited Ammo into picking that speed lead as well, because Ammo could have also just gone HP lead and Apps would have still moved first, but he didn't. Oh my goodness, I mean, Hagen has a generational performance right there with a double stun on the two most important monsters on Apps' side.
Dude, that is not Hey Gang, that is Gianna, if I ever see one. So Rhino Amo is going to focus on trying to bring down the Shizuka as quick as possible. The glancing will also help him against this AoE from the Dragon Warrior, taking away the threat state immediately with the monkey counter attack defense break onto the Shizuka. If she doesn't violent proc, F might have to hit the top, the lower left corner.
Oh, Chow stealing the violent proc away, and Shizuka does not get the proc. The Shizuka is definitely going to be dropping here. Interesting to see that Ammo did not use the skill 3 on Patter. He could have gotten silenced here, so definitely played it quite risky there. So he could have just used that skill 3, and there was, with the Despair Drakon Warrior being stunned, it's not going to be violent procking out. There's no buff remover at all. And I mean, this is just almost over, no?
Not only the Hey Gang did well, the monkey did absolutely stunning job in this position. Stunning everybody, stripping the threat state, stunning the Shizuka, death breaking the Shizuka, and now we got slow debuff on everybody, looking real bad for Abzu.
And that Patter damage, man, 14,000 with the skill 2 on no defense, but that's already half of Chow's health gone. Now the Cardinal addition damage and damage in general, that Chow is going to be gone very, very soon here. Patter not quite able to finish the job off, but with the slow sitting on top of Chow, he's getting lapped here. Also, Ammo does have now the speed advantage in the long game here.
I guess Abzu kind of asked for it with the HP lead going second. And going second, he did. Absolutely cooked by Amo there. He's looking real happy right there. He's going to talk about this for weeks.
He might be, and I believe that is also Ammo's first win in this tournament. So, you know, the tables are turning around for him and Stay Hive alike, as Ammo does pick up that very crucial point for his team here that they definitely need. Now they're 2-0 so far, and Skit Sun's looking very strong, but they are sitting at the bottom of the leaderboard, so every point is very, very crucial for them.
All right, we are down with the second player of each side. We're moving on to the third one. Let's see if the Triton is going to show up once again on the side of Rhino, because if it does, it's going to look real bad for him.
Yeah, what I would like to see is that Kinky, or Fire Kinky, not quite sure what it is now, but that monster, whatever that monster that was force picked by Team Banana Boys on Team Skit Sun's side, and maybe that'll show up. It feels kind of one-sided right now with that Triton only showing up, but I mean, Triton didn't show up for Abs, and even then Abs could not take the point there.
Man, imagine if Triton was false on the Abs team, there was like no chance of coming back. But the moment the Hey Gang performed like he was Gianna, I think was kind of over, because his whole strategy was literally, okay, let the enemy move, I'm a Shizuka him, and we're gonna be okay. And then the Shizuka was like, nah, not moving today, not taking a single turn.
Yeah, interesting enough, Triton would have probably been kind of good for App's team, as you know, he was going for the AoE playstyle, and Triton does, on paper at least, counter Hey Gang counters the Hagen, has enough pushback, counters the patter, right? So Abs could have then utilized that 33 speed lead, gone first. Maybe would have done something, you know, he maybe could have picked up that Maximilian as well. By the way, we are getting into game 3 here between Rhino and Daniel Carioca, the team captain for Skitsun, looking to keep this streak alive. And I don't see either force pick monster in this game, Sean.
No Kinky, no Triton, and also no Fire Megumi. There's no chance to break the rule here for any one of these players. So Daniel Carioca is going to get the first pick, and he does have the Automel and the Molly and a bit more bruiser-ish lineup, but it's going to start with the Dark Monkey King for the AoE control.
Yeah, really just liking those LD monsters. Rhino also has, you know, his own 2 LDs here, the Maximilian and the Kovarchi, but he opts to go for that Water Burner, the super strong monster, and the Wind Dracon Warrior. Very extremely strong monster, but maybe not so much in challenge mode.
All right, we're going to Riley getting picked up as well. He's definitely going to go like Mob Bruiser is because he doesn't really have a good speed lead. We have the Water Twin, but I don't think any one of these players are touching that unit at the moment. We got the Wind Bayak and the Riley. You know what? I think Rhino could use a Triton at the moment.
Yeah, it's funny enough. All these games where they don't have the force pick on the Triton. Obviously, the Triton isn't even available, even if they, you know, didn't have to force pick it, but it would actually seem like quite a solid pick in these 2 games where they don't have it available. Now, either way, Rhino is all gas. Obviously, he's a known cleaver in the regular RTA ladder, and I guess he's bringing that aggression here in the challenge mode as well. He does have a box that, you know, definitely supports that. He also has, you know, Chiwu and Heigang available for maybe another buff remover. Not that he really needs it, but also knows that the opposing side does not have those.
Okay, we got 2 immunity on the side of Daniel Carioca and a Wind Monkey to make it even more annoying for Rhino. Let's see what's going to be the last pick here. He could go for another AoE damage dealer. It could be the Colonel, it could be the Lamila, but he's going to go for a safer option, and that's going to be the immunity unit here to round up the draft.
Yeah, Rhino maybe playing a bit safe here, which might in turn actually not be the safe play. Going for that Kovarchi because it's not super synergistic with his team. His monsters aren't really attack scaling either. So you don't get a whole lot of value from the attack buff now the Maximilian's banned out here. Maybe Rhino, you know, kind of just didn't really know what to do, and obviously, you know what, when in doubt, pick the LD.
Actually, there's still one of the Drake and Water scaled attack topper, so that is a very synergistic draft right there, sir.
Actually, with that defense pick and attack buff, you know, there's going to be some insane damage numbers out in this game.
As that Water Burner now with the attack buff doesn't have defense buff yet, so skill 2 is not going to do as impressive as we've normally seen. But now with the double Dragon Breath,
What is that? That is a 3 stun coming out, and we got a silence and a pushback come out on top. But that stun coming out from the monkey was so beautifully done, and he topped it off with a 2 stun sleep. That doesn't really matter too much, but he did stun through all that buff on the Water Dragon Warrior.
Wow, that is very lucky for Daniel Carioca, getting the 1 in 3 to remove the immunity on that Water Dracon Warrior. And then the Wu is getting a violent proc out of the stun and just sleep. Oh my goodness. I mean, he has to wake up the Soul Bark here at least because of that threat state, but Wu is going to be able to get the immunity back up. The Wind Dracon Warrior is now stunned by the oh my, this monkey is putting on an absolute show today.
Yep, Wind Monkey, absolutely a stunning performance pretty much. And there's nothing much Rhino can do. He unleashed all his combo, and looking like he's the one that lost more HP overall. Oh my god, another beautiful stun coming out from the Wind Monkey. Water Gojo is trying to do his very best to protect himself, and that's the only one he's going to protect. And the Dark Monkey is about to move. I think Water Gojo will soon find himself alone on this battlefield.
Yeah, Rhino also didn't use the Kovarchi S2 on itself, so it doesn't have permanent uptime in the immunity. Not that it even mattered, because Monkey just stunned it through the immunity, or, you know, removed the immunity, stunned it right away anyway, so there would be a gap either way. But now there's going to be a long gap in this immunity, and Daniel Carioca kind of has his way with this draft at this point. The Water Burner did do very well with that skill to strip absolutely everything on his side Daniel Carioca, but there's actually no follow-up, especially with that Despair Eretion. Just cannot get the turn to control. You know, it did very well turn 1, but didn't move past that.
The lack of hard CC is showing. The Dragon Warrior are very good at doing attack by pushback, a bit of silence on top, but what they truly lack is a hard CC to stop the enemy from counter-attacking. A raw stun, that's all he needs. but he managed to not stun the Wind Monkey, and the Wind Monkey managed to stun everybody else in their mon. So I think the last pick, Kovaci, if he changed to maybe a Carno to add a slow and a hard stun on stop, that could have been a pretty big change for Rhino.
Yeah, the Kovaci really didn't provide any value here, as the Monkey just didn't care about that immunity attack buff either. You know, the Kovaci could have been okay, as it does provide 2 buffs, making it very difficult for the Monkey to get those revenge stuns, but this Monkey did not care. He had that overwhelmingly stunning performance, you know, just removing the immunity every single time, landing the stun every single time, except I guess just now missing that Gojo. He knows his job here is done, this game is over, and Daniel Carioca takes another point for his team.
Oh my god. Absolutely incredible performance from Daniel Carioca team. He got 3-0 at this point, I think.
Yeah, they haven't. They coming in this week, they only had 3 points. They've already doubled their points in the previous 2 weeks in just this 1 week, and they have 1 more match. Can they do the full sweep? And you know who's in that last match there?
Go! Oh, the Triton Force pick, the Bruiser playstyle. It seems that the AoE playstyle is not doing really good in the challenge mode this time around, because all I've seen is if you're trying to go AoE cleave, you will absolutely get destroyed.
Yeah, that has kind of been the theme here today. You know, one team has that Trident Force pick. Even when they don't have the Trident available, they still kind of go for that AoE playstyle, and it's not working at all. And so far, Skitson's having an absolute performance here. It's 3-0, and Barventus looking to make it 4-0 in that last match. Can Dermo stop them and get at least 1 point on the board for the Banana Boys?
I think Banana Boys did really well in the previous week, but it's just not it for them this time around. I still want to see the Kinky showed up though. The pre-select sounds really strong until you realize that there's another layer of RNG of what unit you are going to get in the challenge mode. So you don't really know if your pre-select is going to work on the enemy or not, but I do want to see Kinky showing up at least once.
Yeah, it would be nice to see that. We saw Kinky on Zex's box, but obviously it was his team that imposed that Kinky on the opposing side, so he didn't pick up that monster. And yeah, Kinky, I don't know the logic once again on the selecting of the 14 monsters, how rare the LD4s are, but they do feel really rare, because we see Triton very often, and we see all these Nat 5s very often. And as I say that, we actually don't have a Triton here once again, and we do have a Kinky, but it's on the wrong side again.
Wait. Oh, Ventus on the left side. Oh, the Kinky is not going to show up. Dermo on the right side right there, picking up the Water Gojo. And let's see what is going to be the play here. Ventus does have the Wind Monkey King for his draft. And oh my god, last season bro was P1. And not only P1, he's like low P1 as well. Damn, this match, even though a very big mismatch of ranking, could go the way of Aventus if he draft well.
Yeah, we see, you know, obviously the season 36 did close, and both of these players actually achieved their new best rank. So congrats to Dermo on that rank 33 finish, and Barventus, he was repping the C3 before. Obviously now everyone's given a free Punisher 1 pretty much. So Barventus also picking that up for himself and, you know, getting that best rank on his profile, almost rank 69,000, so very nice rank right there. Either way, we're getting this draft, and Dermo picking up the Water Burner with that Erection. Erection has not had a very good performance today, even though he managed to get 3 out of 4 stuns on turn 1 for Rhino in that last match. He still lost the game.
Oh, we got the Riley getting picked up. We got the Wind Monkey getting picked up as well. A lot of good bruiser option coming up from Aventus to counter Dermo, but maybe there is a chance for a Gapsu to show up and then into, I don't know, a Chow. But a Chow looking kind of bad into the Wind Monkey right there. So I wonder what he's going to play. Maybe a Gapsu and a Wind Shahat. What is that? Oh my god, Dermo is going with double twin?
Nope, takes out the Water Twin for the Gapsu. Yeah, I would like to see the Shahat come out to play here. Shahat is very strong with that heal block. You know, just kind of counter the Riley skill 3. You can't silence the Riley. You don't really have any stunners on your team, so getting the heal block on that S1 would have been nice to, you know, at least prevent the healing from the Riley totem skill. But that is not the draft, and I think Dermo is just kind of lacking in damage. Maybe he can ban out the Riley here now if Barventus is not going for another healer, and maybe he can just outlast his opponent here.
All right, Diana getting picked up last. Deal with all the buff coming out. We got the Gapsu to potentially cut in between the Riley heal. So I think the ban might have to be on the Diana on the Wind Monkey right there because they worked really well against AoE spam of the Wind Draken as well as the Water Wojo. But it is going to be a Riley ban for Dermo when he actually picked up the Gapsu. Very, very interesting ban decisions.
It's always kind of weird. Like Gapsu, you often want to go for, you just like out sustain your opponent. But then that kind of means you're banning out the sustain, and then that means you're kind of nullifying your own passive on the Gapsu, which makes it very weird. But obviously Riley is a very strong counter against all these AoEs as well, as it does just stack up those totems and permanently get that immunity attack buff up for his team. And Varvento's team does benefit from attack buff quite a bit here.
All right, we got the counter stun. We got a Diana getting a turn. Is she going to transform the turn one though? It is dangerous to do so, so maybe she is not going to do that. Oh, she's going in. She wants that Water Gojo bad, and I like that. Big damage? Not quite enough just yet, but it's still some damage.
One thing we definitely learned about Varventus is he has balls the size of the moon, as he does not care about this Diana. Gapster just slurps up the entire Diana almost, and I mean, this is looking very good for Dermo right now. I don't think he really was able to get that transformation turn, because we knew he was going to be getting caught, but he does get the final proc out of the stun. And get back into the unicorn form, get a bit tankier, but still, like, there's no heals. This Diana is going to be dropping very, very soon.
Kind of funny how a tanky Diana just lost 80% of her health in the first turn just because he got balls bigger than the moon.
Yeah, that might not have been the play there, as the Diana doesn't do that much damage here even. So wasn't even able to take out that Gojo. I could see where it was worth the trade, right? You kind of lose your Diana with that play right there. But if you could have taken out the Gojo, I think it could have been worth. But it doesn't seem like, Varventus is going to be able to take out that Gojo. Dermo can put a point on board for his team Banana Boys here.
Oh, we got threat state coming up very, very soon. Maybe if the Diana changed to a shield, could have been a bigger play right there so that he could survive a bit longer. We got a threat state forcing the enemy to hit, but oh, that's going to be a quick steal from the Werner as well. Triggering. Oh, he missed the steal. He could not finish Diana. If the Diana Violent proc right now, that's going to be the worst thing ever.
Oh, that is a very huge miss on the threat state, and the Diana surviving too with just one health. I think Diana, since it did not get a Violent proc there, I don't think she's going to get another chance to take a turn, since once again, no healing, and I can't even see the health bar on that Diana. It must be less than 1,000 health remaining in that monster, so even without any additional damage, the restaurant will definitely be taking out the Diana.
All right,
oh my God, it doesn't
go down. What? How did that not die? How did that not die? Diana is about to get another turn.
Surely this kills. Surely the twin skill 3 kills, right?
Maybe. That's a maybe. He goes in, 1,000 damage, and it is enough to take down the Diana. If the Diana managed to shield right there, that could have been the biggest fumble in today's show. Oh my God, the Wind Monkey is not letting go of the matches yet. Beautiful stun coming out, but not quite there.
Yeah, the restaurant responds with its own beautiful stun, stunning the Water Monkey, stopping him from using the skill 3, getting that protection back up. Wind Monkey is trying his best, stunning the Gojo, but Gojo also does take out the Water Monkey right there. And now Wind Twin also stunning the Wind Monkey. Does proc out of it. But look at that damage. It's 1.6k. Doesn't even really move the health bar from Water Burner here.
Unfortunately, the Gold Preventers did not perform today. But overall, Skitson still got a very good performance with a 3-1 W against the enemy team.
Yeah, Banana Boys look like they will be walking away with at least one win here. Skitsons did get swept last week. They got swept. They didn't get a single win against Skills Over Bills, who we still yet to play today. Skills Over Bills obviously started today that tied rank 1, so if they can get at least 2 points, they will remain in that rank 1 position. But for now, Dermo does at least lock up that 1 point for his team, which is very, very much needed.
All right, huge congratulations to Dermo with the last game right there. He managed to bring an honor point for his team, and they would not be looking good on the leaderboards. On the other hand, Skitson will be improving their ranking just a little bit right there because they didn't do so well last week, so they're going to be overperforming every single week from now on.
Yeah, we only have 2 more weeks of round robin after today's week. So, we are more than halfway through our round robin stage here. So the points are very important because you want to be making that playoffs. If you don't make it the top 4, you don't make it the playoffs, you don't make it the finals, you get no money either, Sean.
Yep. And also just to remind everybody why this is in challenge mode, because we want to make it different this time around for the America Summit. We also want to include more players from various different ranking. And you don't want to pair with Ventus against True Whale. That would not make any sense. But on this particular mode that is available in game, you can challenge anyone and everyone. If you think you are him and you got the skill and the brain and the draft of a pro player, you can challenge anyone on the same playing field and beat them very easily.
Yeah, challenge mode just evens out the playing field, so it's quite nice for competitive play in that sense, but there's also its own issues. It's very RNG dependent, what monsters you're getting drafted. Sometimes you kind of just you're just put in a position where you can't really do a whole lot. But with that matchup concluding here, Banana Boys does pick up 1 point, which does move them up to second place right now. Skitsons is picking up 3, doubling their point count, but they're still not even in the top 4.
And that is the second part of today's stream. Huge shout out to all the team who played so far today. And we still got another matchup coming up after the break. So don't go anywhere. I mean, you can go to the toilet, but don't go anywhere. There will be more amazing matches coming out very, very soon. So we'll see you guys after the break.
Welcome back, guys, to the America Summit 2026 Week 3, where we still have one more matchup between Parceros and Skills Over Bills. I'm still Topa, and we are here with Sean B. How you doing, man?
Great, man. Can't wait to see what they're going to bring to the table for this final matchup of the day here. Skillful Build is currently the rank 1 team in the leaderboard for America Summit, and I think they will try their best to remain in that top position.
Yeah, we see the updated leaderboard here now.
They not. I made a mistake because they won 4-0.
Yeah,
in my mind, they were the
had
top.
a phenomenal performance last week, getting 4-0, putting them at 8 points. So they started today at rank 1. Obviously, Chaos and Banana Boys have now already played, so they've, kind of taken some points over them. But Skills Over Bills definitely going to be looking to reclaim their spot in the rank 1. But Parceros, on the other hand, they haven't played yet. I mean, they are now in that last place, so they do need a couple points here to make sure they're remaining in that top 4 and in contention for the playoffs.
So they are both gunning for, I think, 3 points, because if Parcero get 3, then they have a pretty good standing and could potentially take over, good have fun. But if Skillful Build get 3, they're back at being the top team on the leaderboard.
Yeah, it's just only these games being best of fun. Every point is worth so much more. And, this really comes to play here. That difference between 1 point, if you go 2 or 3, right, that makes all the difference, because you also deny your opposing team from getting the points. So if you get 3 points, that means your opponent is only getting 1. And if Parceros were to get 1 here, they actually remain in that tied 5th spot and therefore not eligible for the playoff stage.
And the matchup shall happen very, very soon. Once again, guys, we got new rules for the America Summit this week. We're adding new rules every single week at this point. So we have a new rule called the Red Angel Mod. And for this rule, the opposing team can force the enemy team to pick up a unit in the draft. They have to pick it no matter what, if the unit appear in their box. So the most successful Red Angel Mon used so far was the Triton Force pick on the enemy team, because Triton is not really a good unit in the challenge mode in particular, because there are many good bruiser options to counter him. So forcing enemy to pick Triton is very, very good. Could potentially turn the game into a 3v4 immediately, together with the Force pre-ban for both sides. And that's going to be the new rule for the America Summit.
Yeah, the Triton so far, it's appeared in both matchups, there was one team that forced other to pick a Triton. And so far, the Triton has been force picked 4 times, and they only won once. So only a 25% win rate there. And meanwhile, the Molly was force picked in the first matchup between GLHF and Chaos, and it was drafted twice with a 50% win rate. And the Kinky, or Fire Kinky, or whatever it was never picked, so it doesn't really matter. That monster didn't even show up. So I think you definitely want to be going for a Nat 5 monster instead of like a LD4, because the LD4s do seem a lot more rare than Nat 5s in this mode. So we'll see what Skills for Bills and Parceros will be choosing as that Red Angel mod. Still definitely be using it.
And seeing how Triton Force Select has been working really, really well for the last 2 teams, we are probably going to see the Triton Force once again. And maybe we might even see like the double Force Triton pre-select for these teams. But we could also maybe see a Kumara Force pick. That'd be funny.
Yeah, it's kind of what I'm expecting at this point. The teams I've definitely been watching, they've been learning, and that Triton is probably going to be double force picked. I wouldn't be surprised to see that. You mentioned the Chiwu. I also mentioned that at the top of the show. Chiwu may be kind of the same role as Triton, but I think Chiwu just does a bit more. You'll also get a speed lead utility out of him. Maybe a bit more damage. Obviously, the auto crit on the skill too. But maybe, the Kumar could be one. You might be seeing, maybe, there's a couple other monsters, I think the teams do want to be sticking the Nat 5 monsters for this here.
I think Triton is really good if you own like very impactful LD5, like maybe Nephthys, Maximilian, because when you pick Triton, you are sacrificing a lot of damage for that high base speed and the pushback that he brings to the table. And the trade-off is very heavy for you being able to use normal RGB unit. It has to be like super impactful LD5 that could really make Triton shine. And in the challenge mode, unfortunately, you just don't have the opportunity. Sometimes you get a Maximilian, but that is like very, very low chance. Just like in real life, you don't get the LD5 that easily.
Yeah, those are very few and far in between, hard to come by, even in challenge mode, while there are a lot of LDs like actually available there, they just don't show up all too often. That's something I would like to personally see change about challenge mode, just mix it up, man. Just have multiple LDs in like every match, but even a lot of times when the LDs are available, players don't draft them at this highest level of challenge mode. So no, it's not like they're completely game breaking to have those LDs in there. But it's also going to be interesting to see, obviously we talked a lot about the red Angemon use here, but also the blue Angemon is back for that pre-ban that applies to both teams. So maybe teams are kind of anticipating this Triton force pick, because they want to like ban out some of the counters to try them, maybe like a Riley pre-ban.
All right, now we're going to the drafting phase for both teams here. They'll be deciding who is going to fight who over the next couple minutes.
Yeah, here we have a look at skills over bills. Once again, they started today in tied first place, so this is a very formidable team here. They had an amazing performance last week.
And I wonder what they're gonna pre-ban, what they're gonna pre-select as well.
Ah, sí. En el Discord no.
Yes, we listen in a little bit. Jenny, the team captain here, is deciding on who to step or who to put forth here in the first matchup.
Yes.
Ah, tú me muteaste
Pero
del
segundo
Discord.
pick de jugadores, pues.
Pac, habla.
¿Qué? ¿Hola? Hello.
No, pero escuchas el de acá. A ver, muteate.
Igual primero va a ser Messi,
Pac.
así que da igual.
No, perdón.
So we haven't had an interesting situation where the red Angemon unit get pre-banned. So I assume that if you pre-ban a monster, the red Angemon actually doesn't work. So you could maybe counter the red Angemon by pre-banning Triton, so they cannot force you to pick Triton.
Igual es el único que no quiere jugar contra
Yeah, that
mí.
might have to be some 5
Amante
DHS. I
bandido.
touched on that at the top of the show too.
Porque
But
le
yeah,
da que lo
that would be
retiren
interesting
dos.
to see, because we don't know which one actually has priority. So if you pre-ban a monster that's force picked, which one is the ban or is
Ajá.
the force?
Yo
Which
no
one
los
is
escucho.
when a
La tuya
movable object
probablemente.
meets an unstoppable force, which one comes out on top? We don't know.
Depende de los rivales, eso ellos seleccionan primero.
Maybe that's why we need a win Angemon just to unlock the pre-ban unit.
Yeah, we're gonna be
Oh
throwing
my
all
god, there's
sorts
too
of Angemon
many
at this.
too many things, man. It's crazy.
Yeah,
There's gonna be like a new Rainbow Mon that's gonna force the enemy to like do a handstand while playing at some point.
Yeah, it might be that Summoners workout coming to challenge mode here soon next week. I mean, I'm sure we'll have a Wind Angemon appear. Well, not sure, but I would assume, at the rate that we're going, we are adding, these different color Angemon every single week. So I wouldn't be surprised, I guess that's a better way to phrase it, if we do see a Wind Angemon appear next week. It's gonna be interesting to see what that brings to the challenge mode and, challenges players even further.
There should be like an LD Angemon to force the player to pick the LD5. That you have to pick it. Because we see they skip the LD5 a whole lot because maybe it doesn't fit into the strategy. Maybe it's kind of awkward, like the auto mail out of nowhere. But then we need like a dark LD Angemon to force them to pick the LD5. That'd be funny.
Yeah, at this point, we'll just have Angemon to you just choose your opponent's entire draft, You just choose the whole 5 monsters. It's like, you know what, you are gonna have to pick this, and this.
You have to pick Triton and Automail.
We're gonna dictate, at this point you just swap sides. The team swaps sides at one point, whoever loses the match actually wins the match. You're trying to lose the match actively. That would actually be a pretty fun mode. Who can throw the hearts.
The Uno reverse card.
Yeah.
Angemon.
That would be quite fun. Who can do the biggest Pink Road impersonation? Who can lose the match the hardest.
We don't talk about the pink situation.
Now, getting back to today's agenda, the matches here. So it looks like Team Skills Over Bills is putting up Amante Bandido in that first match.
Okay, let's see who is going to be his
Jeff,
opponent right there. Which one of these gentlemen
Me for
will be
Fizpick.
facing
Yes.
this other gentleman on the other side?
Mendieta, team captain, deciding there who is going to face off against Amante Bandido here. And it's going to be
Amante Bandido,
Gab.
revisa si tienes.
Also, I think we saw the teaser for the SWC location just now in the trailer, so I'm very excited for that as well.
Yeah, definitely. That was posted last night, I believe, on the YouTube channel. So if you guys missed that during the break, it is available there. You can see all the locations. Obviously, SWC is confirmed for this year as well, for its 10th year. So that's going to be a big tournament.
No, porque te piqué a ti primero.
Back on them. Jenny deciding on who to put up against Mendieta.
No, espérame.
That second match as well,
Todavía no me han dicho.
Virtually in the
Ya, pero el
blind
primero
third and fourth matches.
Es el. Ya. No. Él va contra Pac, o sea, contra ti. Yo piqué primero. Amante Bandido y... Ah, ok. Gab a Mendieta. Yeah.
Wow, this is an intense drafting session right here. Usually I just see other team captain be like, you go there, what's like whatever.
Yeah, maybe this is why Skills Over Bills was in that first position. They're really considering all this. I heard Jenny, saying this like, oh yeah, I put Amante Bandido first, and who did they put? Oh, Gab and Mendieta. So now it's like, all right, team meeting. Who wants to fight against Mendieta? And looks like that is going to be Pac-Man John here going up against Mendieta, and Jenny very confident in her abilities, going in that blind match 3. Well, I guess the person for match 4 is already known as well who's going to be in that match. So Parceros, how will they respond? Will they have the carefree attitude that many other teams have?
Mesa and the last Wallen.
Yeah.
All right, I think that should be confirmed for these players. We got Meza in the match 3 against Jenny, and Wallens in the match 4.
Yep, and that leaves the last player from Skills Over Bills to face off against Wallen in that match 4, which is obviously going to be Orchid here. We'll see. Obviously, this could be changing as we've seen 2 Devilmon. We've actually seen, Devilmon being used in both matchups so far. So maybe these players, maybe one or both of these teams want to use that Devilmon as well to swap some of the matchups around.
Okay, now is the fun part. Which one is going to be pre-ban? Which one is going to be pre-select? And for pre-ban, it applies for both teams, which means you might pre-ban a very strong unit that you want to use for that exact moment. So they're going to really, really think about it. But as mentioned, they can also use the pre-ban to counter the pre-select of the enemy. Maybe, okay, we don't know how the judges behind the scenes going to rule over that. But that could be a possibility as well.
Yeah, that'd be very interesting. That 4D chess moves. It's like, well, you're gonna. I know someone's gonna. I know you're gonna make me play Triton. I don't want to play Triton. I'm a pre-ban Triton. So yeah, that would be interesting to see. Definitely we'll have to get a ruling on that if it does come to that. But that's definitely going to be the interesting part here that might dictate a lot of how this matchup goes. These pre-bans as well as the force picks that is so influential.
I'm kind of sad that I thought about this pre-select rule when I saw Fire Golem, and now Fire Golem is gone, and now we have the rule, so it cannot be put onto the Fire Golem. I think he was like the only 4-star fire unit, right? I don't think there are other like 4-star RGB units.
Yeah, and that is, something that I thought about immediately too after hearing about the Fire Angemon. That is what I thought about too. I said at the top of the show, today might be a Fire Golem day, guys. And then I learned that, well, actually, the Lord of the Rings units have been removed from challenge mode monster box. So, we won't be seeing Fire Golem. But I think it's kind of balanced out by the fact that we don't see Water Gandalf either. We lose the joy of Fire Golem, but at least we don't have the dread through the matches with Water Gandalf either. So I think it's overall probably net positive.
Imagine having to pick Fire Golem and then the enemy pick Water Gandalf. That's like the worst thing ever. Like you're just like, it's a 3v6 now or something. It's unbeatable.
Yeah, that might be the ultimate unbeatable matchup right there. And I think we are now getting word of the...
Oh, we have confirmation that the blue Angemon play was indeed made by Jenny team. So she pre-banned the Triton, so the other team could not use the red Angemon on the Triton anymore, but they can use it on other units. So Kumar was the unit as recommended by the casting table.
Yeah, maybe they've been listening in here. And Jenny also used a Devilmon here, which is why we're back in this matchups here now. And we'll see just who's going to switch up right there. And that is going to be Jenny moving to match 1, and Amante Bandido will be in that match 3. So we have a Triton pre-ban. Neither side can use Triton. And Jenny Skills Over Bills chose to force the Parceros to use Kumar. Oh, looks like we're switching our matchup back. Maybe that wasn't the correct matchup. Oh, match 1 and 4.
Oh, the match 1 and 4 was the swap for Skillful Bill. Ocker is going to be taking Gap in the very first game. Maybe Gap is such a crazy opponent that only Ocker can face.
Perhaps. Or I think these are actually, I think we have a Brazilian versus Brazilian in that first match. And I think all the other matchups are going to be Spanish or versus Spanish, you know. I think, yeah, the first matchup is Portuguese versus Portuguese, and the other 3 matches are Spanish versus Spanish. So maybe they just wanted to be very consistent, you know, in their language of their opponents here in this.
So they can talk trash appropriately, you know what I'm saying?
All right, we have just heard word that Team Parceros pre-banned Chivu. So they also went for a pick that they didn't want to see, and they forced Team Skills Over Bills to pick a Triton. But we have heard official ruling that water does beat fire, meaning that since the Triton was in the pre-ban, it won't be a force pick. And in fact, it cannot be picked at all.
All right, so no more Triton, no more Chiwu. Somehow the force ban is being forced on 2 weaker units that nobody want to pick anyway, but because of the new rule, it's now a very good force ban for these teams. So we now have the Kumar force pick from Jenny.
Yeah, very interesting. I alluded to this at the top of the show. It's like you're probably not going to see them be used in the same monsters. You probably want to pre-ban a strong monster and then force pick a weak monster. But knowing that the pre-ban actually takes priority over the force pick, I guess they're so confident, you know, the strong monsters, they don't want to take away a strong monster from their own box. They just don't want to have that being held back by such a weak monster that the pre-ban actually becomes more valuable on a weak monster. So you yourself don't have to pick it. This is getting very, very high level of thinking here.
The meta once again evolved midday as we see that the weak monster become a strong attack on the enemy draft, so that it has to be taken out before the match even begins.
Yeah, that's incredible to see, honestly. You know, the mind games going on in here. Both teams utilizing that fashion too, because I don't think Team Parcero is really afraid of a Chivu. I don't think they wanted to, you know, that the opponent, they don't really care if the opponent has a Chivu, but I think they just didn't want to pick the Chivu themselves, and therefore took in the pre-ban, but they predicted it wrong, as now they are stuck with a Kumar if Kumar is available in their monster box.
I'm so glad there are more than one weak monster so that people can actually swap to something else so that they could actually force the enemy on a different weaker monster here. Poor Kumar. Kumar Triton Chiwu looking mad bad in the challenge mode.
Yeah, it's interesting that Kumar was actually drafted in the very first game of the day, and Kumar was banned in the draft phase, and then the team that drafted Kumar ended up winning, and that was actually the team with the Triton as well. So that was the only win that Triton got, was off the back of Kumar, who soaked up the ban. So I don't know, maybe there is some unknown godlike synergy with all those silences, from Kumar to Triton to the Solvark that was also in that match. And I don't know, it's just yeah, Kumar got the respect ban somehow, and got Vinny the win in the first match.
All right, I hope that Kumar show up and be forced to pick. I think is when you draft a unit compared to when you're forced to draft a unit, make a very, very big difference here for when the unit actually perform. but we shall see very, very soon in the first match between Awkward and Gap.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw it in that Team Banana Boys, right? They were forced to pick Triton, but there were two times they probably would have loved to pick a Triton, but they didn't have the Triton available. So it's very different from obviously being forced to pick it, and then your monster bucks might be all bruisers, and the Triton, you know, is actually just a cheerleader on your team. And other times, Triton, you know, where you do get that Maximilian on your box, which Team Banana Boys had twice. Both Apps and Rhino had the Maximilian in their box, but they didn't have the Triton available. And in that case, Triton actually would have, you know, done meaningful contribution to the team.
Okay, here we go, guys. Awkward and Gab. Let's see what kind of box they're going to be presented with, because even at this point, we don't know, but we finally have a Kumar on the other side. I think that is a Kumar force pick right there.
Oh yeah, I think it might be, and looks like we might have some technical difficulties there as we get in that game. And also want to shout out Lucky Madman. Thank you for the raid. You know, welcome in new viewers. We are just now getting into our last team matchup of the day. There's been a couple of pre-bans. There have been some 4D chess going on in the pre-ban, so a lot to catch up on.
Yep. So I think we are going to see a Kumar force pick, definitely on the other side, which is very, very interesting. And we won't be seeing any Chiwu, any Triton being drafted. So AoE playstyle is out the window, maybe, but we still got like Erection, Wind Twin Angel, that kind of stuff. So we might still be seeing some AoE team here, but that is not going to be easy. You kind of want to have like a star align for you when you want to run AoE with like Dark Monkey, Maxi, double strong, useful AoE strip, not Triton, because nobody's speed contesting in this game, this game mode.
Yeah, it's increasingly difficult now that the Lord of the Rings units are gone, as you don't have the Dark Aragorn for the AoE playstyle anymore either. But here we get in the game, and there it is. The Kumar, which is forced to be drafted. Doesn't have to be the first pick, right? You just have to draft it at some point during the match, but he just wants to get it out of the way. Kumar is being drafted. Orca or Gab in this matchup have a 2LD lineup. There's a Ragdoll Kovarchi on Gab's side and a Patter Dark Monkey for Orca.
I think picking Kumar first is definitely going to be amazing, because you don't want it to be awkwardly slot in. You kind of want to just build around it, and I think that is what he's doing right there. We got immunity, cleanse, damage, looking really good for Gab.
Yeah, Orca just flexing his LDs here, going for a Patter and a Dark Monkey here. Does have that one buff, AoE buff remover in the Wind Twins already, as well as some more AoE control in the Soul Arc. Doesn't have another AoE buff remover option here. Could be going for... There's a lot you could really be going for here. Let's see what direction Orca wants to take. He does go for the second speed lead, or his first speed lead here. And the Fire Megami, which also obviously has very consistent buff removing.
It's kind of funny that Gapsu is not considered like a real LD5, because Gap has 3 LD5 technically in his box, but you have to have the same amount of LD5 compared to your enemy. So Gapsu is actually considered like a normal unit.
Yeah, that's probably because it's a free-to-play unit here, and yeah, it's an interesting interaction we have here. But either way, Gapsu is not being drafted. The Ragdoll is not being drafted either. Fun fact, the Ragdoll is the slowest monster in Challenge Mode, sitting at only plus 100 speed. The Dyna is 101. Either way, the Kovarchi is being banned out, so are the Wind Twins. So Orca probably predicting the ban on the Wind Twins, and therefore bans out the immunity, so that there is no need for that AoE buff removing from the Wind Twin.
Technically, the Kumar looks okay in a draft. In terms of utility he can provide, he can potentially shut down the Megumi with the Oblivion, he can silence the Patter. Maybe he makes sense. Maybe
he makes sense. That is a very nice lineup proc coming from this Megumi, but it does not get the stun, as now the Shaha can silence the Patter, which does counter Patter. You can't stun the Patter, you can't sleep the Patter, you can't freeze the Patter. Well, you can, but he's going to cleanse it. But you can silence the Patter. That is the one way to keep it controlled in this Druid form here. Now it's looking already a very nice opener for Gab, but Hagen's not going to get a whole lot of value in this matchup, as there's not really many buffs.
Oh, Kumar's moving in front of the... Oh, another Violent Proc for the Flying Megumi. But so far, he hasn't done much besides giving the team, enemy team some attack bar. But he landed stun with the glancing debuff. Trick of Fire coming out. Huge silence on the enemy team as well.
And in landing that stun, it actually gives Gab's team even more attack bar there, as Kumar is able to cleanse that silence, and then through the Heigang passive, it's going to give it more attack bar. Solar with the glance on top of it, only silences one monster in that burner. Definitely a good monster to silence, as we've seen how devastating that skill 2 can be, but not the value he was looking for.
All right, Kumar team looking pretty good because you do have heal with Kumar, and it's kind of a decent heal single target, and that is pretty much all he needs. But Kumar getting stunned by the Dark Monkey with a glancing debuff as well.
Okay, Dark Monkey does have skills available, so if it can proc next turn, not only will it get out of this silence, it moves out of the glancing and can get that skill 3. There's no immunity, no protection on the side of Gab, but that, I don't know if he needs protection when the burner procs here, and with the defense buff, this is going to be a lot of damage.
Oh my god, the Kumar first pick might be winning the match here. The heal was decently impactful, and the AoE silence helped to keep the Dark Monkey at bay as well.
That definitely is. The Kumar also kind of has some unexpected synergy with the Heigang here, as both the skill 2 and skill 3 do cleanse. So when Orca applies all these debuffs here, Kumar is actually giving attack bar to his team here. So far with that skill 2 was glance, so not getting a whole lot of value, but a lot of heal blocks, which Kumar can just cleanse and heal right through, however.
Oh, he can also shut down the Fire Mega be passive. He went, oh, he get a Violent as well. Kumar, go for the kill. I don't think he needed to do that though. He could actually go for the skill 1 on somebody else because of the dot on the dark on the Pater. Looking really good for Gap at the moment with the Kumar draft.
This is this one moment here, however. Ooh, that Violent proc is actually quite bad. Because now that gave Shaha more attack bar. I believe without attack bar, Shaha does now lap the Dark Monkey. Otherwise, well, okay, it got stunned by the Golgi anyways. I was going to say, Dark Monkey would have likely gotten a turn. Did have skills available, and that skill 3 is so devastating for Dark Monkey. With that very consistent Demon's Break stun. Even the cleanse block there. Ooh, no Violent proc for the Dark Monkey. I think that was one opportunity to get that skill 3 and turn the tide of the battle. My window might be closing.
Oh, the window is definitely closing with the Kumar skill 3 into an AoE silent land on everybody. And Kumar, the unit that we thought was a meme draft, actually won the game with Gap piloting.
Yeah, the skills of our Bills, Jenny might be regretting that forced pick on the Kumar. Maybe Kumar was the secret MVP here even. You know, even first picked and no problem, you know, just drafted on the Kumar. Gabs almost seems bored in this matchup here. Looking at the face cam, you know, it's like, oh, you make me pick Kumar? I mean, he's win, bro. Do this every day, twice on a Friday.
Oh, unbelievable performance coming out from the Kumar under Gap control. Very well played right there with a silence on the Dark Monkey. And the Dark Monkey the entire time could not do any real value for the team. And he just did it. And maybe his team is going to do it again with a different Kumar draft.
Yeah, maybe. You know, maybe they're the Kumar pioneers here. This is all Kumar needed. He just needed a bit that pushed in that first pick slot, and that's how you make him work. You know, maybe confuse your opponent more than it confuses you, right? Like, oh, it's Kumar. Wait a second. I mean, I'm not used to fighting a Kumar. What do I do against this? You know, because the healing, the cleansing was actually quite impactful coming out of that Kumar in that match.
Indeed, indeed. He does provide a whole lot of value when he's needed to. And especially the silence that worked really, really well. We also saw the synergy with Heigang, where he cleansed the team rather often, giving the team a lot of attack bar thanks to the Heigang passive. So we saw some unexpected synergy with the draft as well.
Yeah, Gab definitely putting on a show there, and very well deserved point for his team as well, which they do need, as they are sitting in that, well, I guess coming to this match, they were sitting in the last place. Now I think they're tied 5th place. If they can get one more, that'll put them at tied 4th, which is definitely the minimum where they want to be.
And Skillville still got the opportunity to get the next 3 games so that they can become the top 1 team once again. But that is definitely not going to be the easy thing to do, because there's always a problem with momentum. And the moment you lose it immediately in the first game, it's hard to get it back.
Yeah, it really is. And I mean, Skills over Bills do have somewhat of the advantage in the draft, right? They don't have any force pick on their side, while Parceros do have to pick up that Kumar. But maybe that's their detriment, right? Like that Kumar did put in work right there, and Skills over Bills did not know how to deal with that Kumar. You know, they just saw Kumar hasn't been performing, just put in the opposing draft. But then they haven't really thought about themselves. Like, actually, wait, why hasn't Kumar been performing? Like, because Kumar on paper, we said this before, like, he seems quite decent, right? He does have Oblivion, he does have Heal Cleanse, another form of Cleanse, AoE Silence. Like, that's quite a lot in a kit. But why has he not been performing?
Maybe he's been waiting for Mendieta to use him properly, and that could be it.
That might be. Mendieta is, if he has Kumar in his box, we'll have to draft it as we get in this second matchup of our final two teams clashing between Pac-Man John and Mendieta.
Hey, maybe because of the Water Gandalf. Maybe that's why Kumar was not really a real unit. But without Water Gandalf on the table, he's back on it, baby.
It might be, but Kumar is now on the other side, so maybe Pac-Man has a chance to use Kumar, the unit they wanted the opposing team to draft. Maybe he can use it to a great effect here. And we also have a double LD matchup, which I love to see once again. We have my two LDs actually on Pac-Man's side here in the Lighorang and the Ragdoll, and the Mendieta has a Patter and a Maximilian available for him to use.
Unfortunately for Mendieta, he cannot draft the Triton, one of the top tier unit in challenge mode that could synergy really well with the Maximilian.
And that is actually so hilarious that now, yeah, one time, you know, we say the Triton like could be good in, you know, this is literally the one time where Triton is actually like kind of okay, is you have that very heavy LD carry for it in the Maxi. There's no Neftis in challenge mode, but if you have a Maxi or a Nefty, challenge does the Triton does become an actual pick, but you know, it cannot be drafted here now. And Pac-Man is going for this full-on bruiser style with two healers already and the Light Horang in there.
I think this will be a very juicy game for Fire Legolas, but unfortunately we're playing challenge mode RTA and not normal RTA, so Mendieta got to find what to deal with all these buff. Maybe locked in the double Draken Warrior, but he's gonna go for the Vert and the Diana, because remember guys, Draken Warrior got nerfed in the recent balance patch. They nerfed the skill 2 of this family so that they cannot gain too much attack bar all the time with the skill 3. Skill 2.
Yeah, the skill 2 cycling has been nerfed, and also, you know, the pushback has been nerfed as well, you know, by a pretty significant amount, right? From 15 to 20, I mean 15 to 10. So instead of overfilling your attack bar to 120, now you can only get 80% bar at most. And Pac-Man picking out the Ragdoll, just really flexing these LDs. Obviously, there's a lot of units that crit. The Wind Monkey, Dyna, and Vertihal are all built on 100 crit rate on Mendieta's side.
I think the Ragdoll is also really good into this very heavy crit-based team here. Everybody can easily crit and give Pac-Man a lot of attack bar, and he loved those attack bar together with the healing damage coming from the immunity unit, and also the damage coming out from the Hwarang plus the Shah is going to be pretty incredible as well, especially when Mendieta doesn't really have a whole lot of healing in his kit.
Yeah, he really doesn't. Bans out the Ragdoll, you know, knowing that it's a pretty good last pick, just content fight in the first 4. Pac-Man John banning out the Dyna. There's some pretty good synergy going on with Dyna Monkey, right? Like, which one do you hit? You hit the Monkey, you give Dyna attack part. Hit the Dyna, you get revenged, stunned by the Monkey. But leaving the Vertihal through can be quite dangerous here. Luckily for Pac-Man, that Vertihal is built on a triple revenge build, so it's not going to be violent proc. You can kind of just ignore the Vertihal, and I think you can kill this Gojo quite fast with your additional damage Horang and the 2 damage of Shahat.
I think in this mode, the Hwarang is actually built on a more damage heavy side, if I'm not wrong. So he should be doing very good damage early game compared to the usual maybe tank Hwarang that do more damage in the late game.
Yeah, the Hwarang is built on a 100 crit rate build as well, and obviously there's always going to be a buff on this Gojo as well. And how does the Gojo just get an off element stun right there? Not. The stun does matter, as it does, the Shah does outspeed the Angela, so it will be getting cleansed, so at least the Deepest Spirit won't stick, but he can also just violent proc out of that. And look at that damage, already turned my no stack Horang and the just nothing Shah. The Werner is almost gone.
And remember guys, the healing is not going to come out very frequently from the side of Mendieta. It's only the Villager skill 2, and even that is not like a lot of healing. It's more like a little bit of like a appetizer healing kind of thing.
Yeah, it really is. The skill 2 is a defense breaker, and the heal is just a bonus on top of that. The Werner also going to be taking reflect damage from the Angela passive, you know, hitting all these shields. So when it actually stole some shields, but it also just broke those shields, just hitting into it. And Horang gets a violent proc, Mendieta shaking his head. He kind of knows it. This game is looking already kind of over.
All right, he can defense break, but either Violent Proc or the cleanse coming out from the Angela is going to take care of the defense break very quickly. And without defense break, he can't really do good damage. But maybe there is a small window for him to pump all that he has into this Shahad. But still, Shahad is a naturally very tanky character because he's a HP skiller. So even with all that, the unit's still looking very healthy.
Extremely healthy right there. We also mentioned multiple times that the Wind Monkey is just on too tanky of a build here in challenge mode. It just does not do enough damage. And I believe the Shahad does have some minus elements seated on top of it as well. And now the Horang with one skill 2 is taking a half of Birdhow's health. And then Birdhow losing another couple thousand hit points, hitting in those shields to the Angela passive. And I believe one more Shahad S2 is probably just going to delete this Birdhow off the field.
Mendieta is not having a good day so far. The counter attack worked out for him, but the fact that he cannot survive this thing is just tough, man. And the defense break goes away immediately. He might get a stun or two, but it definitely does not matter. Pac-Man John, pack it up with Mendieta right there.
Very well drafted and done by Pac-Man John. Definitely had a pretty good drafting options there as well. You know, having those 2 strong LDs and then supplementing those with pretty good healers, right? Having Angela, the constant cleansing healing. Just Mendieta never really had enough damage to ever get through to Angela, let alone the Rusa.
So this is going to be the 1-1 for these two teams. We are back on square one here. Let's see which one's going to come out on top for this matchup. But remember, guys, they are playing for points as well. So every point is very important. And Pac-Man John team or Jenny team is trying to get back on top. So they need to win the next 2 if they want to get the first place.
Definitely do. Both of these teams, you know, being at 1 point now, they both really want to get 3 points. That would put either team in a very comfortable position. If Jenny's team can get 3 points, they'll take the uncontested rank 1. And meanwhile, if Pac-Man John, if Mendieta's team, Parceros, can get 3 points, that would put them at a non-tied 4th place. So this match is going to be very important here that is coming up between Jenny and Meza.
Okay, let's see who is going to come on top here. Very good drafting earlier with the Lai Huarang. Just a very, very strong unit overall into a bruiser lineup. So the Huarang just kind of ignore the Veladro protection and go straight for all these unit HP, dealing such a good amount of damage all the time.
Yeah, we have a little bit look at Team Parceros. They did already manage 1 point, so they are at least not dead last in the competition. As that they are now sitting at 6 points, which ties them up with Skid Sons, but 6 points is not enough to put you in the top 4. And the points is all that really matters at this stage of the tournament. So they want to be making sure they're getting all the points they possibly can. And Skills for Bills here looking quite comfortable, sitting already at 9 points. If they can get just 1 more, they'll take a tied 1st place. But if they can get both of these last 2 games, they'll take the uncontested rank 1 position.
Can Jenny do it though? It's going to be a tough one. And I wonder if we're going to see Kumar again. I really want to see Kumar again. That'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, Kumar was pretty fun to watch, and like playing challenge mode myself, like Kumar hasn't been the worst unit, right? It's been one of the worst units in the tournament here. Like, he really has not been performing at all, but he did perform in the last match, and I would like to see more of him. Team skills over Bills had the option of picking Kumar in the last game, and they didn't pick it. Obviously got the job done even without him, so didn't need him.
So Kumar is like a vegetable, you know? You know it's good for you. You just don't want to do it on your own term. You just don't want to do it. You see it, maybe not this time, maybe next time. So you gotta force it upon them.
Might be that vegetable, you know, you just need that little nudge, you know, that carrot for your eyesight, or I don't know what health benefits vegetables have. I don't eat vegetables. Either way, we are finally getting into this match here now between Jenny and Meza. And there is a Kumar on Meza's side, which she is forced to pick.
All right, we got a Kumar, but we also got a couple decent bruiser. We got the Hey Gang synergy once again with the Riley. So I think that is actually not too bad for Meza. So we are forced to see the Kumar first pick once again, but that's something I would love to be forced into.
Yeah, Kumar first pick with that Shahat. Shaw has been performing very well today. Also very strong into the Werner. Does that HP scaling damage when the Werner doesn't have a whole lot of that HP to back it up. So if you can pick up some more healers here that really support this draft, but Jenny already kind of countering that with the Gapsu pick.
Oh, we got a Gapsu getting picked up. We got a Chow Dyna. All top bruiser unit are showing up in this draft at the moment.
And Meza already does have that healing from Kumar, and it's kind of a sleeper heal, right? You don't really expect it. Like, you look at Meza's team, it's a bunch of boosters, no healers, but he actually does switch out to Diana for a Riley here too, just going really heavy into healing, just kind of banking on the fact that Jenny doesn't have enough healers, but Jenny actually has a lot of healers of her own. She has a Molly, she has an Angela, and I would like to see this Angela getting picked up. Not really for our sake here, as it's going to draw this game out to be a very long game, but I think the Angela is probably going to be a very solid pick here, as right now you're looking a little bit low and sustain. That Gapsu slightly getting banned out, and I don't know if he can sustain long enough against Meza's team here.
Oh, the Gapsu being banned out into maybe a Heigang to put all the glancing on Jenny, getting free bar with Kumar. I think it's going to be really, really amazing.
Yeah, could do a lot here. Could go for the Hey Gang, could go for Shizuka, could even go for Lamila, right? Because Lamila does that true damage with that skill too, kind of just ignoring all the defense the Werner is bringing in, but goes for that Shizuka, just more protection, right? Trying to get maybe lower some cooldowns. That S2 gets soul protection. Obviously, can take that defense buff from the Werner, put up more attack buffs, immunities that you have already from your team on that Riley.
Hey man, the word on the vine saying that Lamila is actually kind of bad. You know what? Maybe Lamila is gonna be the next force pick unit in next week matches. You never know. Yeah, because of the low damage.
Yeah, Lamila is definitely one of those monsters that hasn't been performing super well in challenge mode. We've seen a couple of wins with Lamila, but also there's so much minus element damage on these monsters. That S2 can often a lot of fire monsters especially, right? They like to put the element that they're weak against on the minus elements on the artifacts. Against fire monsters, it doesn't do a whole lot, but the Gojo doesn't have minus water. Can kind of cut through that for Lamila. Either way, that is not the pick, and the last pick was banned out either way.
All right, we got Gojo going in, saving it for later, focusing the damage on the Chow, but we know that the Kumar is coming up with a heal, and we also know that the Wind Monkey just have terrible damage to kill anything quickly in the first turn.
Ooh, Gapsu missing that skill too there is quite big, as now Tessarian is moving into mostly immunity, can't be oblivioning the Shaha, and also Gapsu does not get that immunity on top of itself. So Kumar can now look to silence that monster here.
Wow, look at the cleanse is working out so well. And we even have a violent proc for some juicy oblivion, somebody here. And that is going to be trying to oblivion the Gapsu, the healer of the team. Did not get it done, but still, that silence is going to help a lot.
Yeah, definitely. The silence going to be, I mean, just preventing Jenny from using any skills, right? That's what silence does. Can't use any skills here now. Definitely going to be putting Jenny on the back foot here. The Belajul ban was definitely designed for this. You know, the Kumar, I feel like the Kumar is kind of a blessing in disguise here, really. They're really just working off this back of this Kumar. Banning out the Belajul, the only immunity monster, knowing that these silences will be connecting here.
And we thought Kumar was the meme. He never was. Kumar providing the healing, providing the cleansing, providing the silence is looking really, really good. And once again, it is about to be another Kumar heal on that Shahad with the skill 2.
Yeah, Kumar can easily skill 2 just, I mean, you put all these debuffs on a Shahad, Kumar has just cleansed all those debuffs and heals. So that is just Shahad right back to full health almost. And, I mean, stunned again, but can just be cleansed once again by the Riley. Just can't be controlled. The Monkey not doing enough damage here to overcome all this healing that Meza has provided.
Who would have thought picking a healer and a cleanser is great in a bruiser match? Am I right? Like, who would have thought forcing this unit upon the enemy team would create so much trouble for Jenny's team? Because in a bruiser match, there's a lot of single target CC, and Kumar is pretty good at dealing with that.
Yes, especially being on fire as the CC is coming out from a wind monster. Kumar is not going to be receiving a lot of that CC itself, so they can keep protecting the team here. Shah getting another violent proc. A lot of dots sitting on top of his cap, so he only cleanses one debuff per turn, so those dots will be hurting and giving Shah a lot of attack bar, but no attack bar is given if it is being Oblivion here.
But remember, the cleanse might be coming back for Kumar very, very soon here. If he gets a violent proc for the skill 3, he went and get the Oblivion onto the Capsule, which means no more healing. Monkey Prime position to kill, but still, even with defense break and branding, could not bring down the Shahat, and the Riley get a violent proc, and that might seal the deal because the moment to kill the Shahat has just gone by.
It has. Maybe the Wind Monkey could actually be a Fire Angel on monster. A lot of people are kind of willingly picking this Fire Monkey, but I feel like Wind Monkey win rate is probably like 10%. Like, he wins like 1 in 10 games. Does he not?
It's just one of those like comfort monster that with the speed lead, you know that you can't really go wrong picking the unit, but it doesn't go right. It just goes mid.
Yeah, it's just a familiarity, right? Like, I guess a lot of these people are just not accustomed to the challenge mode monster. They see Wind Monkey, it's like, well, I see people drafting that all the time on the ladder. I draft that all the time on the ladder, and it works. You know, it has, obviously, people wouldn't be picking it if it didn't work, but here, it's just not working, man. And the Shaha does drop, but so does the Gapsu, and I think without any healer on Jenny's side, Monkey does get a proc, but look at that damage once again, or lack thereof.
It's kind of funny that even on the ladder, Monkey has like a pretty low win rate outside of Punisher. The moment you get into like Guardian, people know what they're doing, they pick properly, then Wind Monkey is just not a problem anymore. So it's really just like a very luck depending monster whether he perform or not. And when he performed, like he stripped the right buff out of 3 and land the stun, he is a god. But without that, he just didn't do a whole lot, especially in the challenge mode where the build is more on surviving and not dealing damage. He just doesn't provide any real value for the team throughout the match.
You know, we actually did see that one great Wind Monkey performance here today against the Rhino. You know, when Rhino does that Kobarcha and the Wind Monkey's revenge every time and managed to remove the immunity every single time. What we've seen was a great performance here is by this Kumar. Actually landed Oblivion in both monsters. Got a violent proc here too, leaving Oblivion and the Wind Monkey there, and just a phenomenal performance by Kumar today, man.
Absolutely mind-blowing. We thought that was a weakness, but little Jenny willingly handed the W Kumar draft to the enemy team, and that's beautiful to see.
And Meza also just making Kumar look great. You know, like Kumar might actually be in the pre-ban next week. Like maybe Kumar is actually the secret GOAT here. You know, people just didn't figure out the secret sauce. The secret sauce is just first pick Kumar, right? First pick Kumar is so far 100% win rate, I believe.
And usually people draft reactively nowadays to what is being first picked. And the moment you first pick something that is so unfamiliar, it throw every drafting book out the table, and you just shut down. You just don't know what to do, and that's crazy.
Yeah, the element of surprise is still, you know, even though you know the rules, you know the stats, you know everything about all these monsters. If you've done enough homework, there's still some unpredictability that you can do by drafting just the unconventional monsters. And Kumar, so far, you know, 2-0, he's doing very, very well.
Parceros on their way, reclaiming the position on the leaderboard, trying to break out of the bottom position.
Yeah, but well done by Meza there with that Kumar and, you know, friends right there. You know, obviously that Chao did some work. The Shaha got a nice violent proc. The Shaha obviously deleted that burner very, very fast. Burner is also pretty good into Kumar, right? Being water, you know, can get stuns with skill 1s. You know, obviously a lot of damage with that skill 2. So deleting that unit early with the help of that Shaha was definitely influential to Meza winning that game. But we're moving on to our final matchup of the day, and that is going to be between Amante Bandido and Wallen.
Man, I really wish Wallen get to see Kumar in his box, and I want to see that first pick Kumar once again winning. And that would just make Kumar the 100% win rate for being forced select. That's crazy to say.
Yeah, that would be quite the note to end the day up on. You know, Kumar being in the pack, and Kumar is there.
Yes. And Kumar, who was not even forced select you said in the first round, actually got a game by being banned away as well. So maybe Kumar is actually the hidden GOAT.
Yeah, it might be. And also we have a Triton and Chibu on Amante Bandido's side, which are not allowed to be drafted. So Amante Bandido playing with a box of just 12 monsters against the GOAT Kumar, he might struggle.
Oh, we got the Wind Dragon Warrior being drafted as well. I'm not sure about the speed tuning on this one. I hope it's going to be enough for the Kumar to go for the Suns after the strip of the Wind Dragon. We also have like a lot of strong AoE draft from Wallens with the Dark Monkey King, the Lamila, the Wind Twin. Actually, a very solid draft for Wallens if Amante is going in with turn 2 like this.
Yeah, Wallen probably has a stronger turn 2 draft. I'm looking at the box, and Amante Bandido's box is kind of weird. You know, I mean, not only does he have 2 monsters that he can't use, there's just kind of weaker monsters in general, right? Like, you have the Werner, which is very strong. You have the Riley, which is okay. The Solvark has done okay. Oh boy, we had the Wind Monkey on Wallen's side, though. This might be a slight misstep. I would have liked to see him go into just some sort of like Angela Chow. Honestly, I think that would do quite well here. But he's going for the double monkey, you know, once again, maybe that familiarity that he's done on the ladder coming to influence decisions here.
Oh, we're going to Diana getting picked up and the Automail getting picked up. Very, very strong unit. Could be Oblivion, though. I think it is going to be a Riley ban into a Dark Monkey for Wallens, and that's probably going to be really good because we have 3 defense scaling unit here, so you might want to go with something that break the enemy defense.
I would suggest the exact same thing. You could, yeah, either the Dark Monkey, ban out the Riley, or you could, oh my goodness, okay, I mean, we're going for Kinky, are we really? No, I was going to say, you could also go for this Angela, just picking up more sustain yourself, trying to out-sustain the opponent even harder, as Dark Monkey would be a bit more explosive, but you already have 2 forms of defense break. The Erection defense breaks, obviously the Wind Monkey defense breaks, both have solid accuracy, so doesn't necessarily need that Dark Monkey. He already has enough monkeys on the field.
Hey man, can never have enough monkeys, especially the one you can choose is the dark one. But it is what it is with the healer last pick come up from ones. You want to be really safe, and it's going to be the Riley ban. It is going to be a Shiho ban. Is this Shiho high crit, Topa?
It is not. The Shiho is built on full additional damage. It's not high crit. It's not super high accuracy. That's a weird Shiho ban. I guess Amante wants to protect his Werner here, right? We know that the Shiho has a lot of additional damage. We've seen it time and time again on turn 1. It takes half of the Werner's health right away. So probably wants to protect this monster and try to keep it alive as long as possible to carry it through the end game.
Oh, we got a pretty bad turn 1. He missed a strip on the unit that has a lot of strong active skills that is about to be used. We got Oblivion onto the Diana. Oh my god. If he land another one on the Automail, this would be hilarious coming out from Wallens.
Yeah, Kumar is kind of carrying again, you know, getting that Oblivion right off the rip. The Erection, on the other hand, really missing two immunities on the side of Amante Bandido, so Kumar can't really get any value from using the skill 3. Opts go for that skill 1 and I'll get a lot of value in the Oblivion. Diana, the second slowest unit in challenge mode, so without getting the attack bar from the allies being hit, it's not going to be moving a whole lot.
Alright, we're going to threat state on to the Water Dragon Warriors. That's going to take some time for Ones to get rid of it, but maybe not really. Maybe he's going to get rid of it right about now. The threat state is about to go down. If Automail get Oblivion as well, we have 2 Giga slow unit not gaining attack bar. That's going to be devastating for Amante.
Ooh, the Werner getting his thunder away actually doesn't matter because Angela will be cleansed up. There's just 2 Devos on that Kumar, so both will be cleansed up as it's the lowest HP monster. Now Kumar probably goes for skill 3 here, just go for the silences, cleanse up his team here. Not going for the Oblivion just yet, but gets a Violent proc. Can he Oblivion the Artemis? No, resisted.
All resisted. I don't know what is the situation with the accuracy for the Kumar, but I think if he keep going at it, we're probably going to land it at some point.
Yeah, it's not super high accuracy from what I remember, but you know, still all the units in challenge mode do have at least 30% accuracy, I believe. So there's a, you know, at least a 30% chance that it will be landing the Oblivion even on the 100 resistance Artemis. Can this Dino now get a Violent proc here? It does not get a proc, even then it would still be silenced, and that Oblivion is just sitting on the Dino forever.
Oh, big question for Automail. Heal himself so that he can do more damage with the passive counter attack, but still that is not a lot of damage because we have like constant healing from Angela, we have potential healing coming out from the Kumar as well. There's a lot of stuff going on for Wallens for this Automail to solo carry here.
But Artemir did a lot of damage though. It actually did 7,000 on the revenge on the Angela. I don't think a lot of monsters have minus light here. Because a lot of the monsters in challenge mode feel very tanky as they have minus regular elements on them. But they don't really have minus light or dark on them. So Artemir with that defense was actually doing quite a bit of damage here. And while I'm trying to get a defense break on to mitigate the damage, but it gets a stun instead. Probably can't complain with that.
Oh, looking like good damage from both sides here. Monkey's doing damage. Artem is doing very good damage as well. Dinah finally get a chance to do something here. Oh my god, the stun punishment from the Wind Monkey is working this time around.
It really is working. The Monkey is having another stunning performance. And that might be just what he needs to win this match here. The Oblivion has been reapplied onto the Diana. And there's just not enough healing on Mante Bandito side. This is what a lot of these bruiser matches really come down to, right? Who has the most healing just seems to be winning as well, and seems to be pulling ahead here.
Unfortunately, he cannot afford to go for the AoE because he's going to get hit by the Monkey immediately. We have more damage coming out. That was like no damage from this unit. Unbelievable. But the real damage is going to be in the form of Kumar and the Monkey, and it's working really well for Wallen because enemy team can't really recover from all these damage.
And the Artemil is trying its best in getting out the heal on that. But the defense break lands on the Artemil. The Monkey is actually, I believe, 80% accuracy on that skill too. It's very high accuracy nonetheless. So that defense break is very consistent. And now the defense break on the Artemil. He's trying his hardest to stun here. Solvar could get threat state up here, maybe take some heat off the Artemil. But that Artemil with the heal block and defense break is not going to last that long.
Oh, the threat state is gone immediately because of the Monkey counter attack strip. So Artemir is once again under a lot of pressure from this Monkey, potentially a Kumar Violent Prompt, but no. But this defense broken Artemir cannot perform too well because he doesn't do enough damage. And he is taking a lot of damage to his Monkey at the same time. Oh, with a Violent Strong as well. And the Monkey took down the Artemir.
I think that might seal the deal here, right? There's no more sustain inside of Mante Bandito. He does have Dyna Shields, I suppose. You know, that's like some pseudo sustain. But there's so much healing coming out of the Angelo. But actually, with the heal blocks, not that much healing. But look at this Kumar. The skill 2 value is going to be insane.
Oh, it's a fat heal through the heal block. There was nothing a Mante Bandito can do. It's just too much utility of these monsters. And the Monkey, compared to the previous round, this time he has a stunning performance. Completely shut down the other unit, provide a defense break for the team, and the ban on the Water Monkey is looking worse and worse every moment.
Definitely is. The Wind Monkey, it did do, you know, it doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but it still does enough damage when the opposing side doesn't have any heals, right? And I think that's ultimately what this matchup really comes down to here. You have the Angela Kumar against an Artemil, right? I think Angela Kumar out-heal an Artemil probably like 4-1. So ultimately, that's probably what this came down to. Angela didn't have enough control or damage with, you know, these water monsters that he picked here. And Wallen will be walking away with a W. And so far, Kumar, in the 3 games that he was forced drafted, that's the 3 games they won. In the 1 game where he wasn't picked, they ended up losing. So Kumar is actually the MVP of today.
Unbelievable performance by the Kumar right there. Completely dominating the enemy team, being first pick, being forced to first pick by the enemy, and turn around and said, nah, I win, bro.
Nah, I'd win. Yeah, that is incredible Kumar stuff right there. You know, it was kind of in a... There were different drafts of Kumar, right? We saw the Hey Gang draft in that first match. Like, not as much healing, you know, a bit more control. And then we saw some bruiser matchups. But Kumar, you know, he's kind of a jack of all trades, right? Maybe that's why he hasn't really been performing that well. Because he's been, like, drafted in a slot where you don't need, like, all the utility. Your draft's already, like, more defined to go a certain route. But Kumar, you know, he can play in a CC team with the silence. You can play in a bruiser team with the heal, the Oblivion, right? To all those passives. And what a great show he had with Kumar today.
Definitely. And Pacero's got the 3 points over, skill over Bill. And they will be improving their position on the leaderboard, knocking Gula Have Fun down to rank 5th. Tying 3rd with Banana Boys, looking really good. And this time around, Team Chaos is going to be the one on top after this week.
Yeah, Team Chaos taking the lead there with the 2 points, starting the day at rank 1 and then just 2 points, putting them in uncontested rank 1 with 10 points. But obviously, all the teams are very close behind. Just one day, if they slip up, if they get like 1-3 result, that's going to turn the tables.
And that was the final match for this week. We are about more than halfway done with the round robin. Is that what you call it? Round robin? And we also have a new code for you guys in the chat. Summit is fun. Can't argue with that. For 2 water scroll in there. So hopefully you guys are going to get your new unit from the new water scroll. And that's going to be the code for today.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us here today for week 3 of the America Summit. We have 2 more weeks of the round robin left. So we will be back here next Friday, same place, same time. And I believe Evan will be back. I know you all missed Evan dearly. So he will be joining us once again next week, I do believe.
And I think that is it for today. I wonder if we're gonna get a new rule next week, where the caster pick a unit and they have to pick Automel.
That would be quite fun. But for now, that is going to be all for us today. Thank you guys once again so much for joining us. Make sure to redeem those codes and make sure to come back next week as we will see you then. Bye, guys.